I met a gypsy.
Yeah, dude, no, 100%. Well, I'm stoked to be doing this one. This is a very highly requested guest. The Buttery fans have been in full force in the DMs for like, honestly, years, dude. Like
That's
the
wild.
whole time I've been doing this podcast, yeah, people have been like, you got to get Buttery on, you got to get Buttery on. And I is it right to say that you would have been filming in about 2010? Would you have been doing Buttery stuff back then?
I'd say like 2009 is when I did the first deal with like back in the day. And then 2010 is like when the Buttery thing really started popping. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, because the first time I went to America, I landed the Thursday before Parlor 2010, the final round.
Yeah.
And I went straight from LAX to Parlor Press Day. And I'm pretty sure that would have been about the first time that I heard of you doing your thing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, that's 12 years ago now.
Crazy how time flies on. And then we linked up for a bit because you came out to Encinitas and we had a couple of buddies out there, and I remember meeting you. I think that's the time like Keisha had come over or something as well.
Yeah.
It was around that time, and then you and I kind of shot the shit there for a minute, and you were working with Brent Campanelli, rookie at the time. And
yes.
Yeah. It was that long ago. It was like you, me, and Rookie. We were chilling beachside, and I was like picking your brain because I was trying to do the film thing full force, and like I already knew that you were the staple in the game as far as that. So I was picking your brain about some shit, and I think you just started maybe doing one of the dream rides.
Yeah. We just we were sort of just doing the whole like JDR thing. Like when I think about it now, dude, we did a web series before a web series was a thing, really.
For sure.
Like with JDR, we did like the whole Coming to America thing. I mean, you watch it back now, it's not like it was that good, but it's like I was filming on like 5Ds and doing the whole, like trying to do the whole film deal back then. And yeah, it's fucking crazy to think, man, eh?
It's wild. Yeah, you were definitely on the forefront of all that, and we were filming like before Instagram and stuff like that because everyone's like, oh, Instagram filmer. I was like, dude, we were cranking videos way before Instagram, hoping like Verb Moto would pick them up, or Transworld at the time, Racer X, whoever it might be. So that's crazy to see how far it's come.
Dude, yeah. So let's go back to the start for you. When did just moto enter your life? Like, what does that moto picture look like?
So I got my first dirt bike when I was 16 years old for my birthday. And my pops got me into moto, and I loved it. Wasn't able to ride track for a long time. He said it was too dangerous, so I was just like a desert dude. Would go out there, camp with the family, just ride around. And like as soon as I got on a dirt bike, I was like, dude, I truly enjoy this. Like this is so much damn fun. This is what I want to do with my life. But had to play team sports all up the way through high school, and then I did football through high school. And I always had a bike, and then I ended up losing that thing. It just blew up, old 250. And all my homies were pro moto dudes. And I'm like, dude, I gotta ride. But I couldn't afford a bike at the time. And I thought the closest thing to getting into action would be a filmer, because you're right there with them. You're making cool videos. You get to hang out with all the dudes and everything. But as soon as I threw a leg over the bike for the first time, I had such a passion for it. I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Dude, that's so sick. And so you said 16 that you got that bike?
So I dropped out of high school when I was 15 years old. I worked for a grading contractor. It was one of my buddies. I moved in with him, and then my boss owned the house, so I lived there. And we lived on a little ranch where we had 30 horses. So I used to buck hay to pay my rent for a living, and then I would go to work every day. And I couldn't make enough money at the time to buy a bike straight up. So he had a dirt bike, and he fronted me a Kawasaki 450. And I got that probably when I was 19, and I would just take money out of my paycheck every month and just cut him a check to try to pay that thing back. And like, that's how it all started.
Dude, that's crazy. So were you into moto though before your dad got you that first bike that blew up? Like, was it a long thing, or it was something that you found kind of late?
Dude, as long as I can remember. Even looking at your 96 Anaheim tee, that would have been a little too far back. I would only been 2 at the time, but dude, I've been going to Supercross my whole life. Got my first bike, like I said, when I was 6, And the first Supercross I ever went to was probably 5 or 6 years old. I'm like, this is the coolest thing on the planet. Like, there's nothing cooler than dirt bikes. So I've been a fan and been hooked ever since. Like, that's all I ever enjoyed watching. And I thought it'd be so cool to be down there and be one of those dudes and be close to the sport. And so I've always been a fan.
Dude, that's super cool, man. There's something to be said for, I guess, like the hunger that you can generate internally when you love something so much, but you can't ride. So we kind of had a similar deal. So like my dad grew up racing, and my dad was a pretty good racer here in Australia. And then I got a bike when I was like a kid, like 4 years old, did that whole deal. And then I had a gnarly crash, and I actually like put the handlebars through my stomach as a kid, and then like ripped all my internals, like like crazy shit. So then my mum was like, fuck this, you ain't doing that anymore. And then I was just, it never left me. Like I was just obsessed with dirt bikes my entire life. And then it wasn't until I like got a job, and I got a job at like 13 and bought my own bike, so that mum couldn't say that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just feel like that carried me through my whole life, you know, like wanting something so bad for so long, and just spending your whole childhood just idolizing and like just dreaming about having a bike, and then you finally get it. So I just feel like it's probably a similar thing for you, you know, like it just carried that froth through your entire life. Like being deprived of a bike for those years has probably what like led to Buttery in a sense, you know, because you've just frothed it so hard.
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, dude, I was literally obsessed for this stuff. I was so passionate, and I was going to do whatever it took, and it took longer than expected. So like, even though I've been riding for a long time now, I've only been taking it serious for 7 years, so it's still fresh to me. Like I still enjoy it every day. I'm not burnt out. Like I wasn't doing motos, grinding motos because I had to. Anytime I ride dirt bikes is because I want to. That's what I want to do. So like, it's still so fresh to me, and like it feels new every day. And I could say, as long as I'm walking and I'm capable of riding, I'm gonna do this my whole life. It's too damn fun.
Yeah, dude. Nah, that's so cool. It sucks so much in the moment when you're a kid and you are seeing all these, like I used to just make friends with dudes that had dirt bikes. Like that was the only criteria. Oh, you got a dirt bike? Fuck, let's be homies. Boys. And it was like, you go to the track and you just like watch your friends ride. Like that's how much I fucking love dirt bikes, you know. I don't know what it is. Like, have you thought about what that feeling is that can make a kid so fucking obsessed with a dirt bike? I kind of got some ideas, but it'd be cool to hear your thoughts on it.
I mean, dude, it's an adrenaline rush the whole time you're doing it, and it's the only time when you're truly just, it's you and the dirt bike, you know, and the things that you're able to do, and your mind kind of wanders off, and you're just kind of, everything goes out the window. It's just like, I'm here to ride this dirt bike, hit this jump, hit this corner. It's just, it's a way of, I think, self-connecting, at least for me. My mind kind of goes crazy all the time just thinking about new ideas or stuff I want to do or I'd like to achieve. So when you're on the bike, it's just that moment. You're living so in the moment. You're not thinking of the past, and you're not thinking of the future. You're just enjoying just that you're able to ride, and really, like, the adrenaline rush is insane. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the exact same thing. Like, there's just a certain level at which like the rest of the world kind of fades away, you know, and then to like be in that present moment is it's just such like a rare thing in life. And then I think that on the level of a kid, like I don't know whether it stuck with me different bit when I was just like really young, because it's like there's just no way you can be more free than when you're a 4-year-old kid and then your dad just puts an explosion between your legs with the throttle and then is like, just go manage this explosion by yourself. And it's like, when you're a kid, you're so dependent on everybody else. You're so dependent on your parents. You have to get taken everywhere. You have to get, like, everything has to get done for you. Yep. And I just think for me, like when I was a kid, to be given something where it's like, okay, this is on you. This is all your responsibility. You know, like you can now take yourself around the track. Like this is just completely your own deal. I feel like that probably has something to do with it as well. And maybe it's like, even if you're a kid and you don't have that feeling, that's sort of what it looks like when you watch those guys out there. It's like you can sort of see there's a certain sense of like freedom in it. And then you fast forward to like Crusty Demons and you start seeing like dudes in the dunes fucking sending it. And it's just like, whoa, that's possible.
Crazy, huh? That's what I grew up on. So I was probably like around 6-7 years old when Crusty Demons first came out. And my pops took me down to the local store. We got that VHS, slid that thing in. When I seen the first clip, I'm like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. These dudes, they're riding, sending it huge. They're jumping over fires. There's chicks everywhere. It just looks like the coolest, the lifestyle that came with riding on top of already being able to ride a dirt bike and just have fun with it. Then this lifestyle comes with it. I was like hooked right away. Obviously your mind, you're so young and you're absorbing everything. But like right away for me, I was like, dude, this is it. Crusty, this is the shit right here. Like, this is the life I want to live. And I used to sing the songs in my head, like the soundtrack when I was on a BMX bike. Like that one, he's like, you're going to ragdoll. And I would like end up going over the bars or something. But I always thought that was so funny.
Yeah. Oh, dude. The I don't know whether it was, I can't remember whether it was in a Krusty's. I think the Nitro Circus stuff probably had like the biggest soundtrack influence on me. Like, maybe it was in Krusty's too, but you remember that Guarano Ape song, Open Your Eyes?
Yep. Yes, exactly.
Dude, that to me is still like all time top 10. And then like Grinspoon, so you want to be a champion? Like, then I found out that they were like an Aussie band. I was just like, what the fuck?
That's so cool. I bring some of those back sometimes, like on some older Instagram edits and stuff. I bring a couple of those back, like if we're doing some free ride stuff or something that kind of resembles Krusty or that vibe. And I know this new age and new wave of kids, it's probably their first time hearing it, you know? So they're like, oh, you know, that looked cool in that moto edit. But for us, we're like, you should have seen how much cooler it was back then.
Yeah, dude. And when you're like first hear it, like this shit doesn't exist. Like they're literally creating a vibe out of the ether.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Yeah, with the soundtrack, the riding, everything. Like they just did a good job putting that. They were on the forefront of that stuff, and it was just like no one had ever seen anything like that before, and to that full scale and that riding, and it was just it was crazy. They really opened the doors for, I'd say, free riding and making videos even possible in moto.
Dude, I just like my content brain now. I'm just like, fuck, we almost need to like remake some shit. Like, I mean, they can make Transformers 150 times. Like, why can't we remake, like, you know what I mean? Like, our childhood shit.
It would be cool as hell, especially some of those old spots like out in Beaumont and Retchie. Like, you could go back to those spots, find them, maybe get an old school camera like a VX or something and kind of bring back that same vibe and film it that way, and even use some of the soundtracks as well and just recreate it just, 20 years later. And show how iconic that those spots are still there and like it influenced moto that heavily. Oh
man, definitely. And then like there's still all those guys are around. It's not like those guys still aren't ripping and riding. Like Deegan still throws down, Twitch still throws down, Link Ogle still throws down. Like there'd be so many people that I'm sure you could get out there and like just make some crazy old segments.
They'd love to get back in the mix. I went out to Beaumont like 2 or 3 years ago with Deegan and Hill, and Deegan said it was his first time out there since they had filmed with Krusty's back in the day. And we went around, we tried to look for that little diving board one that he tried to drop off on, but he enjoyed it. He's like, dude, I grew up on this stuff. It's cool that you guys are still out here doing this, because he even recognized some of the spots and it brought him back. You could tell he was reliving some Krusty moments there for sure.
So when you first started filming, were you like, that was the big influence, is just like it was a way for you to just get in the scene, like you knew you weren't going to be a pro rider, like you were late to the game in that sense? So the filming thing like that, you saw that as like your lane. Did you have any experience filming? Like, were your parents doing the camcorder thing when you were a kid? Like, how did that side of it start?
My pops always like kind of logged everything in a sense and was always filming me ride my bicycle or ride my dirt bike, and I would like show off for video, do a little bar turn. But they weren't really doing anything serious like that. Verb Moto had just dropped, and Ryan Walters and Wes Williams at the time, they were a huge influence. I was like, dude, it just looks so cool to make videos, because it's like, it's an art and you get to do it exactly how you want it. You can shoot with the riders you want to shoot with. And I knew I couldn't afford a bike, so I just saved up and bought a camera. I was like, this is as close as I can be to the action, and it's a way for me to pave my own kind of way and make videos for dudes. It was cool because that's right when it transitioned, public tracks were letting people come out with cameras. So I would walk up to all the pros and be like, yo, can I do a video for you? And they would just be hyped to have something for their Instagram or whatever. And I ended up being able to network pretty quickly and meet a lot of these dudes that I looked up to for so long. Now I'm doing videos of them, and they're texting me asking me if I can come back out and do another one for them. So I was like, I was so passionate. I was like, damn, this video thing's sweet. I'm gonna take this as far as I can.
That it was a little like hotbed, that scene, huh? And if I'm honest, like the Verb thing was what inspired me to film it. Like I remember I was working for a magazine in Australia, like a written magazine, and then Verb was just killing it, and I was just spending so much time like watching. As soon as we got the internet, because I got the internet pretty late, like I was probably like 15 when I got the internet.
No way.
And then I was, yeah, which is a trip to think about. And I remember like just downloading off like LimeWire all the old like Transworld edits. Like I remember Transworld videos of like Stu at the test track with like burner on a 2-stroke and hitting quads, and like we'd pretty much just get on LimeWire and just like motocross every single day to just like try and get some motocross shit. But then the next step from that was like when Verb Moto come out. And I was like, holy fuck, this is like insane. And I remember I wanted to quit the magazine that I was working for. And I was just like, I'm just going to start the Verb Moto of Australia. And I just like ended up buying a camera on a credit card and a tripod. I actually still have the tripod today. And then that was, that was the start of it. And it came from that same vibe, dude, like Wes and Walters. And then it took like 2 years, and then that's when I ended up kind of getting over to Parler for that last round. But that was like the same influence, man. They fucking made shit look so cool.
Dude, they made it look so fun, and it was the amateur scene was big then too. So like the kids were having a lot of fun. It kind of seemed like it took the pressures away. They wanted to be involved in the videos. The edits were cool. The soundtracks are cool. The vibe, the whole presence they brought to the pits, and just the race in general. They made it look super fun, and I was like, damn, I could create something like this, capture a moment as well, and just document all my homies having fun riding their dirt bikes. And I feel like I'm a piece of it too, because doing the film and edit part of it, and it just felt like it really brought the homies close together. But yeah, Verb, all those dudes back then too, because like I was no one, and I put a video out and they would pick it up and put the link on. So like until someone kind of put you on, you were basically undiscovered at that point. So anytime those dudes put your link up, you were like hyped. You're like, hell yeah, now we're getting some traction, starting to get your name out there. So they definitely helped me get my name and pave the way.
And then I guess like you kind of just took advantage of the whole like SoCal thing too, because SoCal has its own vibe completely, and it's like there's like the whole Southern California thing so documented in racing, you know. It's like, don't fall into the trap of Southern California, and it almost like you were documenting that deal, like you could fall into that trap because like you weren't the serious kind of racer dude. So it's almost like you were the guy that like really shined the light on almost like the cliche SoCal scene in a way.
Yeah, exactly. We made it look, we showed the fun part of it, the fun side, that you got to go to the track, just throw whips, throw high fives with your homies, not at the training, not the TMs yelling at you or whatever the case, the testing days, all that. We just made it look as cool and as sweet as possible. And we're very fortunate like to be in SoCal, because all the riders are here, the best tracks are here, the riders are here. So you're able to network and connect so quickly. It's just, this spot, I took advantage of it. I realized what we had, and dude, I'd be at the track every day. Every day Paula was open, I'd be there, and I'd just be cranking out edits, and I'd rush home, crank out all the edits, as many dudes as I could, and then just text them off and get like 5 or 6 posts a night from each rider. So I was able to build my name pretty quickly, like when Instagram had hit. So it was
And it was still 15 seconds then too, right?
Yeah, 15, because it was photo forever. So like I would do YouTube videos and Vimeo videos for the dudes on the back end, and then I would just do photos for them as well. I think for the first 2 or 3 years was photo only. So I was photo guy. I was still Buttery Films, but I would just post photos. And then as soon as that day, Instagram hit with a notification like, yo, you can post videos now, 15 seconds. Dude, you try to cram so many clips in there. The video would look longer than it was. You try to get 15 clips out of it, just a clip a second, and just jam it up with the coolest new beat or the coolest new rap song and just shoot that thing out. And it was like, we're the first ones on the Instagram wave.
Yeah, which is crazy to think of now.
It's wild. Now there's a bunch of filmers out there and everyone does a good job. Like some of these dudes have surpassed, tenfold what I could do with the camera and the edits, and as far as all that and the creativity, it's crazy. And people have reds, that's I would never have thought of that. Now that's just standard. You can go, some kid, his dad might have bought him a red and he's right there getting edits of you. So like at our time, and especially like Jacob over here at Jacob, we were like the first dudes really doing that with 60Ds and stuff. So
yeah,
it was cool because there was no one else. It wasn't as saturated, so they had to come to us technically at the time to get a video, unless you were going to go pay someone or have a company do it for you.
So who was the first, I guess, the first guys that you filmed that helped get the Buttery thing going?
Dude, I filmed with so many legit dudes right off the gate, but I think Dean and I shot a lot. Dean Wilson and I shot a lot. He was the first dude to actually send me a text and reach out and be like, yo, I like your stuff. Can we link up? He told me what tracks he would go to. I'd come out. He signed me jerseys and just give me jerseys in return and pump my stuff. And then I filmed a lot with Jason Anderson as well right when he got his deal there. Dude, I filmed with so many dudes. I was even when Izzy was around, Stroop. I did a bunch of stuff with Stroop when he was right there at VMS at the end. So there was a lot of dudes, and I would just hit up as many people as I could and try to network and just become friends with them and be like, yo, you want to shoot today? And they were always super hyped to do videos, shoot me song ideas or whatever, and we get certain angles when they were done doing their motos. It was cool. It was a super cool experience. I'm glad I was able to live through it all.
There's something to be said though, all this sounds well and good and it all sounds super easy, but I think that there's something to be said about, I guess, the personality type that it requires to have those guys wanting to text you, because there's a million people that would offer their services to film Dean Wilson or Nico Izzy, but there's a certain personality type that has to kind of fit with their vibe. And I mean, the metric of this for me is the fact that Hanson is cool with you, that probably says everything that needs to be said, because I don't know many people that are more classically cool than Josh Hanson. He's the most fucking, I love that dude. he's such a G, and he's just one of those guys, he's never going to hang out with a person he doesn't like. He's never going to be, he's never going to put himself in a situation where he's not pumped to be there. So I think that, when someone like you is just around a guy like that, it sort of speaks about your personality in a sense. So I think that, while all this is right place, right time, I also think there's a big element of the right person that can kind of just fit in with that vibe, isn't being a clout chaser, isn't kind of, muddying up the waters with weirdness, if that makes sense. Yeah,
no, I hear you for sure. That dude's classic. If people really knew how funny of a dude that is, he don't really posting on social or nothing. I think he's over it. He was there. He did his time. He had everything he needed to. He did it all. But if I could just document some of the stuff that dude says, he's so fucking funny. His classic. He's off the wall. He's one of the more fun dudes to hang around, and he tells you how it is too. If you don't want to hang with someone, he'll tell you straight up. But I think it was a homie vibe. We just made it fun for people. Everything in this sport is so serious, as it should be. They're getting paid a lot of money. People expect things out of you, but it's at what point can you have fun with it? So when we show up with the camera and we were boys, we'd be just make it fun for the day. They're cool. After we do our motos today, we get to mess around, throw some whips and just have fun with it. And show our creativity and a skill on the bike, because they never get to do that. They can't just go throw whips, you know, for fun. So I think it was just a change of pace, just relax, and everyone could just have fun and shoot the shit and tell some jokes and have their feet kicked back. So it was super fun. Just a very laxed vibe with it. We just had fun.
Yeah. And so when did did you always have it in your mind from the jump, like, okay, I could be something in the industry, or I could like make this a full-time gig? Like when did that sort of wheel start turning in your mind?
I knew there was always something available there, just because we'd built the name up and we had all the connections and we were doing videos so quickly, but I wasn't making any money on it. So I knew I could make a name for myself, but I just wasn't sure what was going to put, you know, the bread on the table and connect everything to get paid for it. So I'd reach out and get an occasional paid gig from Don Maeda at Transworld or something like that. But at the end, I was like, dude, I don't know if this is going to work out for me. Like, enough to make bread just filming videos and doing stuff like that, because I didn't do production stuff really. We just more the edits and just for fun. And I didn't know if the video thing was gonna work, and so then I started doing construction, and I did construction as a grading operator, and I truly enjoyed it. I can run pretty much any piece of equipment, and I thought I was gonna do that for the rest of my life. I thought it was gonna be sweet. I was super down for it. And then I got drunk at Vegas after party one year. I think it was like 2017. And my boss said, don't come to work hungover. So I got fired. So now I'm like, shit, I just lost my gig. I just lost my whole career. I got nothing to do. So I was like, I better do something. My homie suggested selling merch. I'm like, dude, no one's going to buy my shit. There's no way. And so we just did a quick run of 100 tees, and sure as shit, they sold out. And that's when I was like, damn, I guess we've made enough name for ourselves where we can put some money in the bank and make this thing legit and try to make a run at it.
Damn, dude, that's so cool. It was always crazy to me that you never felt pressured to like step up the production stuff, because like you could for sure do it. Like I don't see why. Like you just never made the jump, and I never understood whether that was like a thing that you did on purpose, where you're like, I just want to stay on brand, or it was like a lack of confidence that you had in yourself and like your ability to do it. But I mean, I definitely don't see a reason why you couldn't have like made that jump. Obviously it fucking worked out. Like it's not criticizing your career path, but yeah, like from the outside I was like, fuck man, like I never got why that wasn't like a logical step for you.
I think it was a little bit, I was just stoked on not having pressure, like having to, you know, provide for someone or whether they want something specific. And I was a little lacking on my confidence. Like I was so young. I was probably 16 at the time, and I didn't want a brand breathing down my neck telling me like how to do it or deadlines or timelines. And I kind of undersold myself. I was like, I don't know if I could pull this off for sure. And then my first paid gig that I remember was actually Volcom. I went to Beaumont with Darren Durham and Sean Borkenhagen. And this dude, they paid me at Volcom. It was $117, I think, to go film at Beaumont for the day. Volcom ended up falling out of moto, but so I was like, shit, I guess this really wasn't for me the first time I tried to do a real paid deal here. So I just had fun with it, and I just made do with, you know, work in construction, whatever else I had to do. And just, it was more fun. I wouldn't necessarily turn it into a job, but I enjoyed it so much that I wasn't looking too far in the money side and like being production and all that.
And did you feel like when did the Buttery thing start to feel like, I guess because I mean for me, right, like I was always filming and doing my thing, and I always like really enjoyed just like the conversations that I'd have with people. I really enjoyed like the interviews that I'd do with guys. Like I think maybe people they wouldn't understand, but like when we did all like the Red Bull gigs and all that sort of stuff, like I was like really into doing the interviews. So like we'd sit down and we'd have the writer, and there'd be like 3 cameras on him and the lights and all that stuff, and I had like my notepad, and I was like super detailed. And then my interview style then was like real conversational. Like I'd ask the question, then I'd let him answer, and then I'd just like drill like down into it, you know. But I never I never thought, even though I love podcasts, I listen to podcasts flat out, I never saw myself doing it. I was so used to deleting my voice from these interviews and not having like any front at all, that it just like never came to my mind. And it wasn't like, even this podcast wasn't my idea, you know, like it was Jeremy from Red Bull. And so like, when did you start to think like, oh, I could be in this, like I could be like a legitimate character? Because it's like a weird bridge to cross, right?
Yeah, for sure. When we grew up, I didn't really do too many interviews with these dudes. Like if they weren't riding and they weren't on the course on the bike, like I always had the camera down, and I just thought it was strictly moto, just film track, moto, that whole deal. Then I got my bike and I started doing Instagram videos, popping wheelies, just trying to be creative, because I'm not the fastest dude. So it was like more so, could we go ride somewhere creative, do something creative? And then people really caught an eye to that and wanted to watch it. I was like, damn, all right. So people kind of, you know, like enjoy watching me ride a dirt bike. And then everyone's like, yo, you got to do YouTube. And I was so anti-YouTube, because I thought, in my mind, being a vlogger and some of the people you see, it seems cringy. And they're always like a little over the top and seems like they're going all out. So I was so anti-YouTube. I'm like, bro, there's no way I'm going to do that. And then one day we just started filming. I'm like, I'll try it. You know, so we filmed it, little vlog. We did the first one and everyone was so hyped on it. It was more the feedback that I got from people. I couldn't believe how big the support was, and they were stoked on it. So I was like, damn, all right, I can start being in front of the camera too and like do my own deal. And it's really them being supportive and telling me like, yo, this is something we enjoy watching. You should do this, for me to do that.
Dude, that's sick. Yeah, because it's such a... it's such a weird deal, and I don't know whether it's like just in our industry or if it's like the same in all industries, but like I felt like a fucking kook doing the podcast. It was like, dude, I hated it for like the longest time.
It's cool though. I mean, but look at it now. Like imagine the mindset you had before you started it and before Jeremy and your boys told you should do this, and like look at where you're at now. Sometimes it takes a little push from your homies or the people to go outside your comfort zone, start something like this, and then look at what it's created into. It's pretty crazy. And your mindset changes as you get older, and like you look at things differently. Stuff that was cool or not cool then is vice versa now. Like you're just always ever changing. And I mean, it's cool what you've ended up doing. I'm like, dude, look at this. I'm on I thought I'd never even be on a podcast. Now here I'm shooting the shit with you and we're doing this shit together. So it's pretty crazy. Two dudes that filmed other dudes are now on film and they're watching us. So who would have thought?
Dude, yeah, never me, bro. It's crazy too. Like even Jacob said before, like because he's obviously known you for so long, and he's like, man, you go to a Supercross and the dude's got more fans than the fucking riders. Like it's just, I mean, it speaks to the power of the internet too, like just how crazy the fucking internet is.
That's what I tell everyone. I'm like, yo, the internet is insane. You create a fan and they want to follow you, and you produce content for them and show them that you truly do appreciate their support, and they'll support you tenfold on the back end. So like if riders could take the time and do that to create these relations, they'd have the same thing, but they're getting paid to race, ride, and produce results. So they're not able to do that. So I think that's cool for us. You know, we're just riders just like they are at the end of the day. There's only 40 dudes who can qualify. I'm not one of them. I'm sure half the kids I'm meeting aren't one of them either, but they know that and we know that, and we just enjoy riding. So I think it's super cool just to connect and bring it together. They just enjoy that you give them the time and throw them a high five and say what up.
Was the was there a bit to get over at the start in terms of like that I guess like that doubt you have about like being on camera and kind of doing the whole deal, and like I think it's sort of telling what you said, you know, like you didn't want to be a YouTuber because there is like such a, I guess like a connotation around that kind of stuff. Like was it kind of gnarly to get over it in the beginning?
I mean, at first we just like, we did it in our way and we made it like in our eyes as least cringy as possible. We focused more around the moto and the dirt bikes and just threw in aspects of our day, like driving to the track, driving home. We made it more like we're literally vlogging. I'm video logging each day that I do. So once we got the first one out of the way and saw the feedback, I was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And it was easier to start because we'd already had supportive people. Like I probably had, I don't know, 130, maybe 200K on Instagram when I did my first YouTube. So I knew people already kind of supported us just as riders and just people in general. So I was like, yeah, if we do this YouTube thing and just give them a little more, you know, insight on our life and a piece of our life, maybe they'll enjoy it, maybe they won't. But at first it was a slow roll, and now, dude, I push YouTube so hard. Like, YouTube's everything, man.
Yeah, man, it's a crazy platform. Just the power of it to reach, you know, like with that algorithm, you know, like just to kind of be able to reach the kind of people that you can. And I don't know that people, dude, YouTube has changed in moto a lot in the last 2 years. Like since, I mean, not saying we were the ones that kind of did it, but it's like, I think we've had a fairly big impact on like the way people post on YouTube in terms of like the media side of things these days. But I don't think people understood in like, especially like the dirt bike media landscape, like the power of that YouTube algorithm. And if you play the game in the right way, the way that like your shit can just like blow up. And I mean, it took me like a couple years to kind of figure out exactly how to make the podcast thing work for YouTube. But fuck, once you do, dude, like it's crazy, man. Like we have like 1 million people a month that watch our shit. Isn't
that crazy? It's wild. And that's what's so cool about YouTube is Instagram, your brain's kind of trained to tap, scroll to onto the next thing. Everything is refreshing quickly. Same with TikTok. Everyone's attention, their span's going down and down for how long they can stick. YouTube, they're locked in. You know, people sit down, they watch this video, they watch any of your other ones, they're locked in. So once you take advantage of YouTube and you create a following on there, dude, it's limitless what you can do. And it's crazy. And the older dudes, the older generations, it's new for them to figure out because social media wasn't around. So you tell them, you know, yo, we pull this amount of numbers on YouTube, you know, could you send us some free gear or something? To them, they're like, what? That makes no sense. Because they want race results. They want to see people there. And then I think, you know, you're doing YouTube, I'm doing it. The Deegans push theirs pretty well. There's a bunch of dudes doing vlogging now. Craig pushes his. Like, it's starting to open the doors for sponsors, the industry, and people seeing like the demographic and how many people you can hit and how many new audience, like people have never ridden dirt bikes.
Yes.
They watch you, they think your stuff's cool. Now they're like, yo, I'm going to go get a dirt bike. I want to try this. They make it seem so fun. Why can't me and my homies go have some fun and do it? So yeah, the internet, man, is crazy. It's super wild.
The thing too, man, and I don't know whether like a bunch of people that are even in the game like understand this, but it's a positive sum game. So the more people that are doing it, the better it is. So it's kind of a, I guess like magazines, like if you go back to magazine days, like that's almost like a zero sum game, you know? So there's a certain percentage of people that are buying magazines, and then you've got 10 magazines that are competing for like that slice of a fairly fixed pie. So it sort of makes sense to like not like this person or not, you know, try and like really compete to take that market share. Whereas with YouTube, it's like, it's a positive sum game in the sense that like a rising tide kind of floats all boats. So like the more people, like every dude that comes on and vlogs, like a Christian Craig, a BAM TV, you got a Gypsy Tales, you got a Buttery, like everyone that's like adding to it, the pie actually gets bigger because that YouTube algorithm is just like sending more content out to people that are liking the same sort of stuff. So it's sort of crazy in that sense that it seems like it's one of the first kind of things in the industry that has become, I guess, a way for like everyone to grow at the same time as opposed to everyone kind of taking from each other, if that makes sense.
For sure. And you're spot on with that. I mean, it doesn't become oversaturated. It's just bringing more viewers, like you said. And now on YouTube, there's like a motocross category under suggested. So like, you know, before it'd probably be soccer, football, baseball, more mainstream. People think moto is huge, but in all aspects, it's not as big as we'd like it to be. But stuff like this is helping the sport grow. It's getting more eyes on the sport, more eyes on the riders, the industry, and it's just the more people that, you know, are putting out content, like you said, it's only helping all of us grow at the same time. It's never too oversaturated. Everyone's going to follow their fans, you know, the Craigs, the Barshas, GYPSYs, like you said, and it's helping us all at the end of the day. So when you see dudes pushing social media, it gets me hyped, because social media, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. So if you guys are taking your job serious, pushing content, it makes me want to thrive to do my job too and keep pushing this shit.
When did you well, I guess like I'm assuming that you take the business side of it pretty seriously, just because you've made such a great business out of it. When does like that mindset almost switch? Because for me, it's like I'm studying our YouTube analytics. I not so much Instagram, but like when it comes to like YouTube and TikTok, we're trying to do like a bunch of shit on TikTok now. It's like I find it so rad to get into the nuts and bolts of the, you know, like the business side of things. And I'm like reaching out, like Weege just started his YouTube channel. I'm like texting him like, hey man, if you need any help, like let me know. Cause it's a pretty dope world to kind of like dive into and understand, you know, like the algorithm, understand the analytics. And is that something that you're like pretty into? And when did that like switch kind of take place?
I mean, as far as insights, like I've been watching insights forever. Like when Instagram first started popping, I grind insights. I'd see like what people liked, what they didn't like, if this one hit, if that one hit, whether it was the writing, the music, the style, the way we did it. And I watch numbers all day. Like, dude, my whole life's a numbers game. Sit on Instagram, watch it, YouTube, especially analytics. Like if you can figure out YouTube, man, that's the way of the world. But I really grind out and just see what people enjoy and look at the analytics and all that, and try to treat it more like a business. I just had fun with it, you know. I still do enjoy it. It's not a job to me. It's always fun. But now that I'm getting older and I'm like, shit, I don't know if I've got a plan B. If I can make something out of this, let's turn the switch and go business now and like try to make some money while we can. So I'd say like I'd probably say last year, been a year now that I've like treated it more like a business, and I'm like, all right, let's grind this out. A video every week, we can't miss. Like, let's do something cool. Watch the analytics, see how receptive people are to it. But it's still fun. It's not really a job. It's just, we just enjoy it.
Yeah, you say like a numbers game. Like it is sort of a game in a sense, you know. Like you kind of you're creating this content, you're trying new things, you're trying new thumbnails, new titles, new, you know, tags, like what time are you posting, and, you know, like audience retention. And then there's so many other creators that you can look up to. Like it actually is a super fun and rewarding gig when you can, I guess, like have some kind of success on there and, you know, like really figure it out. And I think that there's also something pretty dope about like learning, I guess like learning the habits or like the viewing habit. I don't know how you'd say it, but like to kind of learn what people like is a pretty cool thing, right?
It's cool as hell. It's super cool. And then it makes you want to drive to create content that they're going to enjoy more, so that you can go out and do that. So you keep their attention higher, because they're the ones supporting you. So like whatever they're more intrigued on, that's what you should go do and provide for them, because they're giving back to you 100. So yeah, it's crazy. Everything's based on retention and everything's numbers. It sucks when you think you do a cool video, you're like, oh, I'm so hyped on this video, and then it doesn't go hard. Or vice versa, you put out one that's like, oh, this video's all right, and then it ends up going. But YouTube especially, like you said, titles and thumbnails are everything. It's crazy. The content's half of the battle too. That's how you create your fan. But getting massive numbers is just strictly thumbnails and titles, and like that's your make or break right there.
Dude, you are a wizard at that shit. Like I was watching. I don't watch like a lot of Buttery content, and not out of not liking Buttery content. I just don't watch much content. Like if I'm watching shit, it's like either super fucking nerdy, like neuroscience, consciousness kind of bullshit, or I'm watching jiu-jitsu, or that's kind of it. So, but I went on a full Buttery binge, like since we started saying that we're going to do this. I'm like, righto, I need to catch up on like a bunch of shit. You're a fucking wizard at the title and the thumbnail game. And I wonder how, because yours is so like underproduced. Like there's no there's no like cliche YouTube thumbnail kind of action going on, and the titles are super like, there's no Buttery Films in your titles. A lot of times it's just like, I mean, you put like your vlog number or whatever. But yeah, it's like I wondered how you kind of come up with that. Like, was it always how you did it? Like, you always just kind of underproduced thumbnail and then just like a real simple title, and that always worked? Or was that something that you kind of like got on eventually? Like, you figured out that's what worked?
I just never wanted to clickbait it, because a lot of YouTubers are known for clickbait, and people give people a hard time for that. And that's because they make money for that shit. I mean, people don't realize like you're bringing in more view on the back end. It looks bad because you're clickbaiting, but like, so whatever, we don't really go out of our way to do YouTube ideas, which a lot of YouTubers do. We literally just video log our day, and whatever happens. But luckily there's so much stuff going on all the time. We're able to get a cool, we ride dirt bikes in the house. Cause like I really do be riding dirt bikes in my house. And so when you see that on YouTube, it looks crazy. You're like, yo, what? This dude's riding in his house. I'm going to click on this. So luckily now, like I try to do at least something cool or something more unique out of every time. So I know I'm like, yo, I could legit use this thumbnail and use this title, and we're not clickbaiting this or lying about nothing. Like, this really did happen.
Yeah, that it's the clickbait thing's hard, man. Like, my first video that popped is still the biggest video that we've done, and it was the Pastrana thumbnail where he's like, it was like, when I look back at it now, I'm like, oh, that's a work of fucking art, bro. It's like the one time you've ever seen Pastrana look angry, and then you've got like the photo of like Deegan looking back like in his like cunty vibes, and then you've got the title that said like Brian Deegan was a real sellout, and that thing's damn near at 1 million views. But
isn't
like,
that wild? Man,
I tried to play the like, I don't want to clickbait, I don't want to do the YouTube thing, but like for our format, like it just does, like it didn't work. Like there was no other way to get traction for just like sitting at a desk and having a head talking than like doing that. And now it's like I try and walk the line, because I mean I like am genuinely friends with everyone that comes on the podcast. Like there's no one that comes on the podcast where I'm not like a real fan of them, and I'm like humbly a fan of those people, you know, and like openly a fan. So it's like it's hard sometimes to walk that line between like clickbaiting something and not, because it's like you just know that you won't get views. But I think like recently especially, people are kind of, or like the guests I guess get it, like they see, oh, okay, it's like getting a few views, you know, so it's like sort of just how the game works. But I mean, I'm definitely careful never to take people's words like differently, but context is everything. Like all I'm doing with titles and thumbnails is like I'm taking something they said and just using it out of context in a way where it's like it's exactly what they said, but if you watch the video you'll understand the context that it's in. But yeah, it's like that whole world to, you know, to not be able, or to not have to do that clickbaity sort of stuff is crazy to go viral the way that you do on YouTube.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yours are perfect though, because every time you say it, you take, you know, out of on the context, they said this, and then it's literally quote unquote somewhere in that, you know, 12-minute segment they really did say that. So it's not too clickbaity. I mean, dude, they really said what you put it as the title, and it's gonna pull in views, and it helps you. It helps the athlete that you just had the interview
exactly.
with. It helps everyone. So like, there's always gonna be someone negative trying to say something rather, but as long as you're getting views and you're getting more eyes on it, it's helping all of us together. So like, YouTube's just it's that way. That's the way of the world. YouTube's always going to be like that. And if you got to pull views and put something a little spicy as the thumbnail and the title, so be it. But you pulled views and people enjoyed. They'll end up enjoy watching it and realize it wasn't clickbait. And then you start developing a fan. Now they're going to watch more of the GYPSY ones and want to dive deeper into this section. And really, that's when you create that cult following, and then they end up watching your videos no matter what you put the title or thumbnail. They just know that the shit you put out is so cool, so they can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like that's like kind of the goal with it, and that's like definitely where you have taken it to to where like people are going to just click. I think you're at like 300,000+ subs, and it's like those people are going to watch your videos. Like your subs and views deal is like so fucking tight, and there's not, I don't think there's a lot of creators that have like that level of engagement on their videos.
Yeah, super fortunate. So I built like the fan base, dude. They're like a cult, but when I say cult in a good way, they know that you provide. You've been so consistent with it. We've done so many, and they kind of expect what they're going to see, and they know they're going to watch that thing no matter what. Obviously, I have some that have gone viral because of the thumbnails and the titles, but like I said, that really did happen in there. But then you start getting the audience that isn't your fan, and that's when you see negative comments from people. But your diehards, they always support you, man. They're just stoked to see another video and stoked to see that you're putting out content every week, and like they're gonna watch it, man. And that keeps me motivated, because like one week I'll be like, damn, did we get enough? Did we get enough for everyone, or should we go get more? So I want to go out, and because I know so many people are kind of depending on me, or like they really enjoy watching it. So I'm like, gets me motivated to go out and film more content, better content, and to provide for them keeps me stoked.
Dude, so I definitely think like when I went and watched everything kind of, or like I watched so many videos like back to back over the last couple of weeks, like and I actually think that you've done a crazy job of almost like flying under the radar in terms of creativity. So like you've kind of kept this like really low expectation of like production quality in a sense, where it's like no one expects, like everyone almost would think that you're not trying in a sense with like the videos in terms of like the production and shit like that. And it's so like, you know, it'll be iPhone, it'll be like low res sort of stuff sometimes, and but then it's like, so that takes this expectation off your shoulders in a way. But there's some like legit storytelling and like editing, and it's almost like you've almost got a real knack for like skits in a sense. And I think that it kind of flies under the radar. Like I was watching the Medium gets a new dirt bike, or Medium finally gets his own dirt bike. Yeah. And there's a bit where he's late, and then you're like in the car like eating your Chick-fil-A, and you're like counting down the minutes and stuff like that. And it's just like the angle's super creative. There's like some legit storytelling going on there, and it's like funny, and you guys are both in character. But it's just like from the zoomed out and not analyzing it that deeply, it just looks so fucking natural. So I actually think that you're super underrated for the storytelling and the character building. And so I don't know, like your take on that.
No, that's cool, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you noticing stuff like that. We just it's more organic. I just film on my phone. It's super quick, easy. I'm not trying to, like I said, that's why I never went production as far as video guy. I guess I'm just not production guy, and I'm able to pull my phone out. Him and I just have a quick conversation. We don't really have to put on too much for the camera. Just emphasize a little bit, act like you're having fun. And that's really what's going on at that time in that scenario. And I think it feels organic to viewers. I'm speaking a lot of the time, so I think it feels like they're there with us. They're there chilling. They could be one of the boys. They could be there riding. But anytime I pull the phone out, I'm always trying to think of like, yo, could I hit a one-liner? Could I say something creative or something funny right here to grab people's attention, to always keep them hooked? So I just try to have fun with it, and it seems like it worked for us. And it's cool because since the production's not so high, I don't have to put out like these mad edits or make it seem like a movie or something. Because like, you know, I watch like Nelk Boys, and if you've seen them, like everything they do is like a movie now. Yeah. So they've set the tone for that. So if they do anything less, now it seems like they didn't try as hard, or that video wasn't as good. But our format, like I just do the same thing every time, and it seems to be working. And it's just, it really is so natural and organic, and we just have fun with it, and they seem to be receptive of it. So I'm glad it's worked out in our favor.
Well, I think like there must be something I guess it's just your style that's been developed over so much time. But like I said, for me, I'm not regularly watching, but then when I go and watch it in a massive block and I watch it all, like there is some legitimate storytelling but it's like small. It's like you're not, like you said, making a movie, but it seems like every section of the video that you've got going on, they're kind of like, there actually is some really good editing and some really legit storytelling that's going on.
That's what it is. It's just from sun up to sundown, and that's how our day played. And then sometimes an episode will end, and then people are wanting the next one, and the next episode will start with the answer, what you thought was going to happen in the next episode. There's always something like, we got a new bike, or this bike broke, what's going to happen next time. It's a continuous story. It's our life day to day, year to year. And then when you look back to see how far you've come and how far you've grown, it's pretty crazy, because other YouTubers, they go out and create ideas to have these viral and massive videos, which is good for them because they pull mad views from it and they got so much return. Ours is just filming our life day by day, play by play, and it's in chronological order. So like you can watch the growth as riders, as personality, as people, and you can really see from day to day each thing that goes on. And it is like one long ass story, and we're writing a book, and we're not looking at the end of it yet. We're going to write this thing as long as we can.
And so there's some times in there too. The cool one was the Gordon Keck video where you just went to LA and you did that jump. That thing fucking blew up. That's like 1 point something million.
Yeah.
But you can actually, for me, like coming from the production sort of world in a sense, I can actually see like some really good direction. There's like a bit where you're kind of like, you're pointing guys around. I'm like, fuck, there really is some like director style shit that's going down there. And I think it just sort of comes naturally to you. And there is guys that I've worked with where they are just like natural kind of directors in a sense. So I don't know if you've like kind of ever thought of yourself in that light, or you think about it in that way.
Now, so yeah, I've just done so many videos now, and I know what I would like to see, and I know what the people would like to see. So like I'll position my homies in a certain manner, or tell them that we should do it this way, and I do give them direction. I am kind of a director, and I'd like to see it a certain way. I'll shoot it a certain way, and I think that's just we're so consistent with it. And I film so much during the week. When I do like a 20 to 30 minute vlog, there's normally about 2 to 3 hours of footage, and it gets cut down to 30 minutes, just like cutting all the fluff out. So like I'm just so used to it, and I know what everyone wants to see that I don't really boss them around, but I tell my homies, I'm like, yo, we should do it like this, like that. Yeah. It's going to be beneficial for us. They go with the fly. They're just stoked to be there, ride dirt bikes, and just hang out, you know? They see the big scheme of what it is, but they don't see the full big picture. They're just there, and if I was like, yo, go jump this jump, we'll go do this shit, they're like, all right, yeah, cool, we'll do it. We trust you, because like I've kind of instilled that in them. They trust the direction we're going because they see it, and they're just enthused to be there. So sometimes I'm like director guy for sure. Yeah. I mean, it comes across. Have you thought about, I guess like probably a bigger conversation about like your future in general, but I don't know, like has that ever crossed your mind, like maybe stepping out and taking on a project that is of like a more, I guess like cinematics deal, or more that, I don't know, more in that lane, and kind of like pushing that side of you? Like maybe it's not for your brand, like maybe it's for somebody else, and it's like you kind of take the vision and you take like those skills and, you know, get a team and kind of do something that's more in that lane, like flex that muscle a little bit. Because like you said, maybe it doesn't fit in your content, but it's like there's a muscle there that, you know, that can be flexed. Yeah, I actually have never thought of going that direction. Now you bringing it up, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm for sure like be down to try anything, maybe consult for someone or show them, you know, we do things in a certain manner. I think your brand could look well, or you could make a cool video. This is all the knowledge and power I have. This is what I think, and watching the way everything unfolds. I've never actually thought about going that way at all. I just always thought about like taking this thing as far as we can. And the biggest thing is building the brand. Ever since I started, the merch was just for fun, and merch just is keeps the money flowing just so we're able to do this. But now I want to create like a legitimate brand with Buttery, and say you never even knew who I was or what we did. You just thought the artwork was cool, or the image that we've created was cool, or the concept. You could just go buy that thing, you know, online. You're like, damn, I want a piece of that, just because you back what's going on. So I'm really pushing the brand to try to make it as big as we can and less merchy, more like a legit brand that you would look at and think is cool.
Dude, yeah, you've 100% got that. Like, that's right there at your fingertips. And that'll just be a matter of, like, you just drilling down on that in the same way that you drilled down on like, the video stuff. I actually put out a thing on my YouTube and just said, like, if Buttery did the podcast, what would you want to know? And so many people said 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plan. It was, like, a very
really?
Frequent comment. Because I think, like, I mean, you're just in such a cool position because there's almost like this no expectation because of the way that you've shot your content. It's like, this is just the dude that's fucking riding with the homies and the iPhone filmer. And so it's like you just fly so heavy under the radar. But everybody that knows you or is like a legitimate fan and like watches your shit, they know that there's a crazy high ceiling. So I think that's probably where that question comes from, is that there's an element of people like wonder, or I guess maybe knowing that you've got so much more in the tank than what you're doing right now, even though what you're doing right now is fucking insanely legit.
That's cool that people think there's a longevity in it, because if they're thinking that, that's what I believe too. I think, the internet could go forever. We could do this as long as we're having fun with it and turning the gears. I don't think it's ever going to stop. So it's cool that people see that, because I plan on going to the top with this thing. I think the biggest thing would just be if we had more money and to budget, do like maybe some crazy YouTube videos, buy Teslas, jump them in LA on purpose because we thought that shit was cool or whatever, connect with different influencers or people with a following or a stature just to grow moto and teach dudes how to ride, or just go link up with them and see how they do it. And then, like I said, just pushing the brand to make the brand legit and make sure the ball's in my court right now, and I'm in a very special position, and I'm so grateful for it, and I can't believe it's worked out the way it has, so I don't want to mess it up. So I kind of just I take it day by day and just have fun with it, and always think, this thing, there's something here. We should take this thing serious and take it as far as we can, as far as content, riding. I'd like to be a better rider. I enjoy riding. I'm not the best rider by any means, but I just have fun with it and try to work on my craft and improve my skill every day and just become a better, safer rider in general. And that's sure Medium Boy wants to do the same thing. We're truly having fun, progressing, videos, riding, and then just with the fans. I can't believe it's this big, but the fans back us, so we back them. So I'll do this. I'll be a YouTuber for 10 years if they want me to. I don't want to do it for 10 years, but if they want me to, I'll do this shit for 10 years.
That's so sick. So what do you see, like, so obviously, you've got like the merch side of things going now, and you want to like kind of push that bigger, but do you spend much time thinking about like the future and like say 5 years, sort of 10 years?
I really don't. I should more so, just to prepare myself, prepare myself, because you never know what could happen. The biggest thing I do now is just try to be smart with the money I have and invest it in the right way. But I live so day to day, and all I ever think about is like maybe a week in advance, like what video could we do or what could we do that'll be cool that people will like. Now that you ask the question, I mean, I just see myself doing exactly what I'm doing 5 years from now, just on a bigger scale, maybe like just more people watching. We have more bikes. We have maybe a bigger team of homies. Like, we're all just coming up together. We're just still being organic, but doing what we're doing just in a bigger fashion, in a bigger scale. But as far as like looking forward in the future, I think we could do this for 5-10 years.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, I mean, fuck, bro. I think that you've definitely got maybe a bigger future than even you see for yourself. And there is a balance to be had there, though. Like, I think that living in the moment and just like concentrating on like the shit that's right in front of you right now, like that's a huge thing that people get wrong. Like so many people kind of like live in the future too much, in the sense that, you know, they're like, I guess because it can get you down in a way, like if you're not where you want to be. Because in reality, like you just are where you are, and the thing that's going to get you to whatever future you're dreaming of is right here in the moment. So I think there's a lot of people that kind of like fumble the ball a little bit in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like maybe you've actually got a bigger future than you even think of, and it could like happen quicker than you think, you know?
That'd be cool, man. Like I said, it's all day to day, and it's just being consistent and realizing, like you said, everything just right now, you know, I'm living in the moment. We're on this podcast. Someone new is going to watch this. You give me the opportunity. Maybe I created a new fan. You live in each moment, and you take advantage of exactly what you have and make the best of each day and the best of each opportunity. And obviously you want to always set yourself up and think in the future and like what your end goal is. But as long as you're having fun, enjoying it, and you stay motivated and consistent, that's what people like, yo, how'd you YouTube or whatever the case? I'm like, dude, nothing's overnight. Nothing cool is overnight. If it was that cool, once you reached it, it wouldn't even, it wouldn't feel that cool. You earned it in one night. Like everything that's worthwhile takes time and consistency, and just grind it out. And just, then when you earn it and you get there, it's super rewarding. But you just set a new goal and try to reach new goals. You never stop. If you're not ever evolving and recreating yourself and the things that you'd like to do or see yourself, you'll get stagnant and get stuck. So we just we're going all the way to the top with this if we can. And if I have a cool future, like if everything got taken away from me, yeah, I'd be bummed because it's all right here, and I'd only get taken away if I let it. But I could go back to, you know, working construction and just chilling with my boys again. But I think we got something special, so, and we're gonna take advantage of that and take it all the way.
So what's the business of Buttery like now? Like who's the crew that you got kind of working? Like whose roles what?
So it's me and Medium Boy. That's, for people that don't know, that's my best homie. I've been with him for 12 or 13 years now. He was my neighbor. So when I dropped out of school, he was homeschooled, and we just rode 110s together every day. And everyone thought we were brothers. That's
so sick.
In the beginning, and we claimed it. Before we were big, we claimed we were brothers just because we rolled so tight, but now everyone's kind of got it figured out. So him and I, we're boys. I mean, dude, I see that dude every day. We ride every day. We're always just hanging out, going to the beach, doing whatever. And then a couple of my high school homies, they live with me. They ride with me as well when they can, when they're not working, because I hired them at Shop Buttery. So I got a warehouse manager over there. I got my other homies picking and packing orders, and just trying to keep my homies employed and do something that they like and something they don't want to do. And then we all kind of come up together. But I have so many homies in so many different ways, but it's kind of my day ones that have stuck with me. And we're the ones that hang out the most and just really enjoy spending time with each other. I don't think we've ever changed. We'll always be homies forever. So it's been cool.
That must be a crazy feeling to have something that's like, I guess, strong enough to be able to employ a couple of your best friends and keep those guys in a job, but you're also, you know, it's all like this positive momentum kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the momentum, and I'm just fortunate that I'm able to do that for these dudes. You know, they've always had my back, always have theirs. I'm sure we'll be homies for life. So it's cool, and I'm in a fortunate place that we're all able to come up together and do this and create strong friendships and good times that we could last a lifetime, man. If we do it right, we could all do this forever. So
yeah, no, dude, I completely agree. Yeah, I think like there's definitely some kind of lanes that you could tap into with like the director sort of stuff. Like, I mean, dude, O'Neill, like that'd be crazy not to get like Buttery to do like direct their team launch or something, you know what I mean? Like you'd probably have to just get Jacob, you know, like get Jacob to be like director of photography. Like you could fully structure it like a, you know, your like music video style shit, you know, because there's so many dudes like I think that our world, we got a lot of parallels with the music world, where it's like, because essentially when you're dropping like a moto edit, you're making a music video. It's like it's writing to music. So it's like if you can direct that kind of clip, then you can direct a music video kind of deal in a sense. So it's like, I think that, you know, for you, if it's like you're not wanting to run the reds and the drones and the fucking gimbals and all the shit, then it's like, okay, then you need to outsource that to another dude. So it's like you link up with like Jacob, and then it's like produced by or directed by Buttery, and then you've got like, all right, I want the camera here, like this is the vibe I want to go for, this is it. You do like all the pre-pro, and then they kind of like get everything dialed that you need for the shoot, and then you're just there with the fucking headset, with the clapboard, you know, like being director Buttery. But I really think that you could create some like fucking cool shit in that kind of lane, and there'd be some companies, man, that'd work with you on it, like O'Neill for sure, like, you know, they've supported you for a long time.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, dude, I never even thought about that. You're opening my eyes to a whole new deal that I would have never even thought about, but I could definitely see myself doing that. I have a vision for stuff that I think's cool, and as far as the riding side, stuff that I would like to see and maybe other riders and other people would like to see that necessarily maybe I can't pull off because I'm not the best rider, the gnarliest dude. That's kind of what I had like with when Gordon was coming around and some other homies. They're just good-ass riders and they're ballsy, so you know they're going to send it. So we'll go line something up like, yo, I got this jump for you. We should line this up. And I did a lot of that with Hill too. Josh Hill and I filmed for years. When I lived out in Temecula, I lived with Hill. And we'd always kind of brainstorm and go back and forth and juggle ideas of some cool dirt bike stuff. And I'd show him something like, yo, what do you think about this thing? Like you should hit it this way. I'll film it this way. And he'd be like, hell yeah, let's try that. And we gelled well. We meshed well because we filmed so long with each other, and I knew what he wanted to see, and he knew how I was going to shoot it. And so it kind of did. I guess when you put it like that, I didn't really feel like I was a director because I was just having fun. But like when you piece it like that, like, yeah, we really directed some stuff and put it together. So if we sat down and had a concept with O'Neill or whoever the case, a brand that wanted to see something cool, I'm sure we could put something together and create something really cool that people would enjoy watching.
Dude, I mean, 100%. And I mean, like, you know, to get, I guess, some legit tools in the toolbox as well. I just think that, like there'd be some pretty dope, like, I guess, vision that would come from, you know, giving you access to like a new set of tools in a sense.
Yeah. I've never really worked with production style stuff. I've held a red one time. I shot on it one time. I never really got to see the footage that I shot, but that was it. Dude, it's so iPhone based. Like I have DSLRs, but I pull them out once a year if someone wants me to. I haven't even held a camera in so long. I know I'm still able to do it and I could learn it, but it's so foreign to me now. I wouldn't even know what I'm doing anymore. So it would be kind of cool. Yeah, like you said, get Jacob on it or get him to fucking dial it in because he's the man now. It's crazy to see how far this dude's come. This is sweet. I'm super stoked for him. And if we had a concept, dude, I'd get him on it and we'd knock that thing out of the park.
Dude, I completely agree. So Pat, hit him up. O'Neill, let's get it going.
Yeah, let's get it going.
There definitely is I guess, I don't know whether it's a pressure. I mean, for me, like I just bought a red again, and like I've got some like production stuff that, you know, I sort of want to get. Like we're about to do this Europe trip, and I guess maybe it's just me. Like I've always really enjoyed the production side of things, and I guess doing the bigger, more creative production shit. But there's so much stuff that we just don't put out because it's just not up to scratch. And it is a trap that people can fall into when you are, I guess, trying to like just keep upping the quality, because YouTube just in general is crazy now with like the level of legitimate filmmaking that is on that platform. Like I actually sent Ronan some links last night of this dude Nathan Drew. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his stuff. God damn, like like the level of production that he's doing with like just the titles and the graphics and the voiceover and the music and the like the way it's filmed and edited, like god damn, there's some guys that just kill it on the platform. So I mean, I think for you to build the kind of base and the channel that you've built with just zero of that pressure is just like, that's a crazy blessing.
Yeah, I'm super fortunate because, like you said, dude, there's filmmakers, like legit filmmakers on YouTube now. People got Reds, the best editing. I mean, dude, you got helicopter shoots that were so crazy back in the day. Now Monster could pull that any day and get a helicopter out there like it's nothing. Like the scale to see how massive it's gotten to, and the production and the budgets that people pull for some of this stuff's insane. And I've never had that at my disposal or at my fingertips. I hadn't had any of that. So, it'd be crazy to really get the big guns out and get some money and try to do something like that. It's the last cool project I did was I did this one with Josh Hill. It's called Urban Rider, and he went in the water park. Yeah. So I had my little DSLR, and then I had Medium Boy on B-roll on his back end too, and I shot it very natural, and we knocked that thing out of the park, and it was pretty cool. That was pretty much no budget and nothing. Just went there and just the man hours and got everything prepared. We did more in preparation so he could do the loop and like get the park set up. And then once everything was set up, he's so good at riding, he can basically get it first try. So we knocked that out, and that was for Monster. So that was the last biggest thing I did was for Monster for the Urban Rider. I think that thing's got 3 or 4 million now. So pretty cool to see your work on like a production side like that.
Oh yeah, dude. And like dollar for dollar, you know, like bang for buck, what you're getting for, you know, like 3 or 4 million views on YouTube with like the AdSense. When you compare that to like the budget that you've put in, I mean, it's a better business model.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Yeah, YouTube's the way. Man.
So who do you have like influences that you like? Who are your influences when it comes to like content and platform creation? Like you mentioned Nelk Boys before. I guess, who are your influences?
Nelk kills it, you know, he does a good job, and they got that Steve Will Do It guy. He's always doing some crazy stuff with his giveaways and his planes. I like watching that Danny Duncan dude. He does pretty well too. I don't know if people are familiar with him. He's always doing something crazy. I kind of just watch. I'm not like a huge fan of each person, but I just watch what they're doing and maybe take a piece of it and see if something we could incorporate in our videos, or just try to understand why these dudes are doing so successful and how they've built this following and gotten to where they are. So I kind of just go on YouTube and watch a little bit of everyone, and just take pieces of everything and try to incorporate. I watch a lot of skating. Like I think skateboarding's super cool on YouTube. That's like my favorite shit for sure, is watching skate edits.
Who's the kind of people that you watch in that world?
Dude, I always switch up. Like obviously Nija's cool. I'm cool with Nija. I hang out with him when I get the chance here and there. He's super busy. He kills it. But just more street skaters. Like I grew up with this kid named Rowan Zarilla, and he's on Vans now. So any of the Thrasher stuff, more like they're kind of organic and raw. And skating has stayed that way. Every once in a while you see these massive productions, but it's more like raw, just going out in the streets, banging out clips with your filmer and just getting it done. So I kind of watch like, I don't know, more street skater dudes that maybe aren't on the mainstream of things that you wouldn't see, and just watch how these dudes grind out their spots, and it gets me inspiration to go maybe grind out and edit. Like the biggest thing now is like street moto. Like I drive around and we look for street spots, and I'm like, damn, it's almost got like a skate kind of vibe to it, and we could go hit that thing on a dirt bike right now. We should go hit that thing real quick.
Are you excited for the upcoming e-bike revolution? Like, have you got plans to get an e-bike or an Alta or Stark, or because I feel like that's really going to open some shit up for you.
I'm super down. That's going to be a controversial subject. Everyone's on the e-bike, dude. People don't understand. I don't think e-bike, I could be wrong, this is my opinion, I don't think it's going to take over motorsports. There's been e-motorsports for years. There's Formula E. It's just a new avenue where you're able to go ride and maybe access some stuff that you weren't able to before. Everyone's like, yo, you can't hear the motor, this, that, and the other. Like, dude, I had an Alta. That thing was so sick. I ended up getting mine taken away. I rode on some mountain bike trails and made them like a pretty legit video, and a bunch of mountain bikers typed into them complaining, and they ended up snagging mine back. but I see Hill pushing the Stark thing pretty
really?
hard. So like as soon as Stark hits the States, dude, I'm gonna try to be the first dude to get on one of those, especially for like I said, the urban side of things, like going to street spots. People get triggered by noise. So if they don't hear you, even if you're hitting a jump that's 40 feet, 100 feet, and flying through the air, they don't hear you. They'll look past you and just keep walking. So I think electric bikes are going to open up a huge avenue for people to ride out of their backyards, maybe even warehouses. There might even be like tracks inside warehouses or something in industrial areas because they're quiet. You know, there's no carbon going in the air. It's just a clean, just like they have electric go-karts and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe no one in like the Temecula area has started an indoor 50 place for like the E50s that KTM do. Like, can you imagine doing like after school care where you'd basically like the parents come, it's like the soccer mums, but instead of taking their kid to soccer, they take their kid to the little moto track, and there's like a full little stadium supercross sort of deal inside a warehouse, man. That's so many places where you could do that in Temecula.
It'd be huge. And there's lights, you know, it's a safe environment. You can, any time of the day, like you said, after school, whatever the case. I mean, dude, you might be onto something. You and I might go in on a warehouse and be the first dude to capitalize on this, because that could be some shit right there. Yeah, it's just something for the kids to do. And like it's warehouse, dude, it's cool. The lights are always on. It's always protected. It don't really rain out here, but you know, it's a controlled environment. You could kick the AC on or whatever the case, and something for the parents to kick their feet up, have some couches and chill out, and not have to be at the track taking just mad dust all day and getting sunbaked. It's something brand new for them.
Yeah, and I mean, you run like I go to jiu-jitsu every day, right? So it's like I got my class timetable, and then it's like from 4 to 5 there's like the 9 to 11 kids class, and then from 5 to 6 there's the 12 to 16 kids class, and then there's all the adults classes. It's like, dude, you need a moto class. You have like some guy out there coaching. Medium Boy is coaching these kids how to ride. Seems he has flawless technique. And so it's like, I could just see that being such a legit business. And imagine how many kids would be like, I ain't going to fucking gymnastics. Like, I'm going to moto.
Yeah,
like, take me to
sure.
moto class.
For sure. It could be so big, or like an outside PE for your kid, like in middle school or something, just transitioning. It gives them something to do, because there's like out here in California, we have surf PE at the coastal high schools and the middle schools. Yeah. And like I always tried to push heavy for like a moto PE when I went to public school, and we wrote up our little proposal the best we could. I'm sure it wasn't that sweet at the time, but it seemed cool. Had the parents oversee it, but it ended up going through. But yeah, we need more kids on dirt bikes. That's the biggest thing. All these sports are so accessible. Ball sports, it's easy. It doesn't cost as much, but they're accessible. If moto is as accessible as it can be, it's only going to grow the sport just substantially and make it as big as it can, because it's not even peaked yet, dude. It seems massive when you're a fan, when you're in there and there's 40,000 people watching. It's cool as hell to see it's that big. But if you were to see TV ratings and see it compared to any given sports game, I mean, dude, we're not even scratching yet. So it's just, there's so much more room for growth. Oh, man.
Dude, yeah, 100%. And like, imagine if you got a place where kids can go and they don't even have to own their own dirt bike. So like part of the deal is you just rock up. All you have to do is bring your gear bag. And there's like a bunch of those KTM e-bikes. So it's like just no barriers to entry. Because that's really the barrier to entry, is like the cash, you know? Like there'd be so many kids out there that'd be like you and me were, man. Like we were kids that were watching Supercross and watching DVDs. And especially think about the kids that watched like Hayden Deegan. There'd be a massive percentage of their following where the kids just like can't afford dirt bikes, or their parents, like they're kind of, Hayden Deegan is almost like pop culture to a lot of kids, you know, sure. Like where they support him and they're into him, but they don't actively participate in the sport. So I mean, imagine if you just remove those barriers to entry and there's just like a little 50 moto park. We're giving away free game right now.
Yeah, right. I know. We're getting too many ideas here. But yeah, I get YouTube comments like that all the time. There's people like, this looks so cool. I would like to do this. But dude, I straight up can't afford a dirt bike. And it's insane now with the prices of everything, like inflation, everything. Like, dude, dirt bikes, that's a huge commitment. That's not something you just go pick up to, you know, and have that kind of cash just laying around extra. Like, you're committed at that point, and it's super hard for someone to, if they're not in a financial position to grab a dirt bike, if their parents can't help them or whatever the case, they're not in the position. So it'd be so cool. Just yeah, that's crazy. They're on to some shit right now.
Yeah, we should do it. Does that feel cool on your end that you've like given bikes away to people?
That's the coolest thing ever. That's the reason I do it. I take a chunk out. We buy the bikes. I still don't get any hookups on bikes, so we're doing a 250 giveaway on my next merch shop here. Brand new 2022 250. I put a Yoshimura full system on it. It's got graphics and everything. And I do it totally at random. And the first dude that ever won one was like, he had a lot of money and he already had bikes. And I was like, well, shit, you won it, whatever. But now I go at random and I go and look on the back of their social end. And like the last kid I hit, I gave away a Kawi 250. He had a 1996 YZ 125, I believe, and him and his dad were trying to build it as a project, but they didn't have all the money and they couldn't get the parts. So like when we went and surprised him, because I called his dad, I'm like, yo, your kid bought a hoodie, I'm going to give him a dirt bike. And he was so ecstatic. I'm like, don't tell him, we'll just pull up and we'll pop the garage and that thing will be right there. And it's such a cool feeling that I'm able to do that for someone, because I remember when I couldn't afford one for myself, and now I'm able to buy it for other people because they've supported us. So it's a cool feeling to be able to give back to them, and hopefully they're gonna have fun on that thing and become better riders, and hopefully it makes an impact on their life and they could pay it forward to the next person, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, that must be a crazy feeling, especially coming from the background that you come from, you know, like there's a certain level at which you'd never be able to take something like that for granted. And I mean, I know that you could imagine someone giving you a dirt bike when you were desperate to own one, and like what that would have felt like. So I think that, yeah, there's just I guess like a different level that you can appreciate something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's it. You know, it took me a lot of hard work, and I really earned being in that position and buying my first bike. So I know what it takes, and I know that feeling. Like you said, if someone were to give me that opportunity, dude, I would have went crazy. Lost at a free dirt bike. I'm able to go ride finally now, make videos with my buddies and do it. So I feel super blessed and fortunate that I'm able to do that for someone else, because I would have never thought we'd be in this position. And now that I'm here, I want to take advantage and be able to help someone out.
Have you seen that kid that you gave that bike to since, like riding and stuff?
So it'd been probably a full year. He was upstate in Henderson, Nevada, and it had been a full year. And I went to Lake Havasu 2 weeks ago for a works race, and he was out there, and it was his first race ever. So I watched him race his bike. He got graphics on it. He had O'Neill gear. He was all suited up. His name's Jacob Brown. Super nice kid, super nice family. He's like, yo, dude, I've been practicing all year, and I'm trying to become a better rider. And he went out there and he ended up racing. He did okay in his class too. And when he got off, he was just so stoked. You could see the smile on his face. I'm like, damn, dude, that's pretty cool that he's using this bike to his advantage and he's able to race. And it's something for the family to do. They drove out there, they camped. So now it's a whole deal in the aspect of their families coming together, because dirt bikes brings people together. So I had no idea he was going to be there. And I seen him. I'm like, no way, dude, you're racing? That's badass, man.
That's fucking legit, man. I mean, there's just like not that many people that, you know, are in a position to just like give somebody that level of froth, man. Like that's such a fucking life-changing thing to have happen, man. Like it's pretty rad. Yeah.
I'm super, like I said, super fortunate. I can't even believe we're at the level we are, but I just, to be able to give back and see someone smile and have fun riding dirt bikes, that signed, sealed, and delivered for me, man. I was super hyped to see that.
That's sick. So when it comes to like your riding, that's one thing I think is cool as well, because I mean I'm definitely in like the exact same position. I'm not the best dirt bike rider, but I try and I like getting better at it. Has it been, I guess, a cool project in your mind to just like always be like progressing and trying to get better. And I mean, you probably don't give yourself enough credit, man. Like there's stuff that you do on a dirt bike that I will fucking never do. Like you ain't ever seen me jump a road gap or a fucking train track or anything like that. So I mean, you've definitely got some Sendy vibes going on.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you. Every day, like it's just progression to get as good as we can, and just to be able to have good flowy. I think the coolest thing is just having flowy style, not looking like you're trying too hard, and just form and technique, and just look like you're having fun out there. And like I said, progressing. We're decent riders, you know. We can jump the jumps and go do, you know, some stuff that most people might not do. But when you're out here in California and you ride with these top amateurs and these pro dudes, and you compare yourself in one lap, you're like, holy shit, dude, I'm so far off from these dudes. But I know that's out of reach for me. I'm never going to be a professional, but I would like, just for a goal of myself, why not be the best rider that I can? So I'm always focusing on technique. You know, I'll ask my homies, ask Hanson for some tips, ask Hill for some stuff. And that's helped me a lot, is riding with other riders that are better than me. You watch what they do. They kind of give you some tips and insights. You hit a corner, you watch a slow-mo video, watch how your style and form was, and just try to pick apart and analyze yourself. And you're like, yo, how could I be a better rider and hit this faster? So it's cool because every time we go to the track, we're already having fun because we're riding and ripping. We get to do videos, and then I really do try to progress myself. So when you get little things here and little things there, and you feel yourself like getting to that next level, it's a cool ass feeling to be like skilled on a dirt bike and know what the bike's gonna do, how it's gonna react, and how to maneuver or set yourself up in a position. Super fun.
What's the stuff that you're like working on within your riding at the moment?
Dude, the biggest thing is like staying on the balls of your feet. I know people always say that, but if you get stuck flat-footed, like you don't ever want to be flat-footed. Like, so just always being aware that you're trying to stay on your toes the whole time, and it's just being safe too. Having good form and technique keeps you safe. Like luckily we don't really crash that often. If you're just riding, having fun, you can stay relatively safe. It's when you start pushing and going to that next level. That's why racers get hurt, because they're riding on the fine line, pushing themselves as riders and pushing the bike. So it's a good way to get hurt. But just focusing on getting the toes, getting the elbows up, just making sure everything looks good, and we're keeping our composure. Because like it's easy to do for a lap or two. Then when you start getting tired and your body starts getting tired and you're breathing, everything starts falling down. You see your form starts going away. So just always trying to technique and form and using the bike to your advantage, and as best as you can, letting the bike work for you, letting that suspension work.
I think that you've definitely got an ace in the hole in the fact that you're always being filmed. Because I think that that's probably the way that you get better at riding the quickest, is when you can actually like really see what you're doing and then go out and make a change and actually see exactly what that kind of change does. Has that been something that's been massive for like improving?
It's huge as far as critiquing yourself, because you think you look or feel a certain way, then you come back and see it on the video and it's not what you thought it was. Like, you always think you're sweeter than you are. Then you look at the video and you're like, oh, what, dude? Like, I'm sitting on the back of the seat, like I'm dropping my elbows. So it's always good to look back and critique that and be able to, you know, just better your form and your positioning. The best thing is like, especially like throwing whips and scrubs, just trying to style. Like, I'm really trying to just work on being a stylish dude. I don't have the biggest whips by any means. Like some of these dudes out here, especially, they go upside down, but just having nice fluid style and trying to look cool and on camera and just be that dude who just flows around the track.
You guys have come a long way in your riding though, like massively, especially medium.
Huge.
It seems like he takes shit it seems like he takes it pretty serious, and like I respect the way that fucker will send it. Like, he's definitely gnarly on a dirt bike.
Dude has balls, and that's the biggest thing. You can't teach balls. You can teach skill, you can teach form, can't teach balls.
I ain't got it.
And there's sometimes jumps where I'm like, I should be, especially when we go to the hills or jump something new, like I should probably go first just because I'm a little older and I have more experience on the bike. But I'm like, dude, I don't want to get hurt. And he never gets hurt, and he always gets out clean. I'm like, yo, you want to hit that thing? And I'm like analyzing. I'll be like, yo, this thing's second gear, we'll click third, and we'll kind of pop it like this. I'm thinking about my body position, suspension, and how I'm going to throttle it. He just goes, oh, yeah, I'll hit that thing. He just looks at it real quick. I don't even think the dude thinks what he's doing on the bike or how it's going to react, and he just sends it, and he always gets out clean. It's so funny to watch him, and he's a good-ass rider. Like, I got to ride hard to keep up, and, we'll dice it up and keep it pretty close with each other, and I truly don't think he really thinks I know he's bettering himself, but I don't think he's thinking as much as I am about making himself better. He just gets on the gas hard and just hangs on, and it works out for him every time.
Dude, yeah, I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat, I suppose. But yeah, I don't have, like, I feel like I'm more like you. I got to kind of like think my way around the track because I just don't have the fucking balls.
Yeah, especially when you start going in hills and free riding and seeing stuff. All the track stuff's a little safer because you kind of know how it's groomed, and each track is kind of in the same manner, the lip to landing. But like when you go to the hills and you start looking at peaky stuff or stuff that's like long distance, triple digit style stuff, there's a lot of factors and a lot of variables. And like, I don't want to get hurt because I don't want to go to the hospital, first off. Second off, I don't have health insurance. And third off, dude, if I get hurt and I can't put out YouTube videos for people, like, I'm kind of, they're depending on me to put that out. They don't want me to see me to be the biggest dude, do a backflip, the ballsiest dude. Like, they're already stoked that I'm riding the way I am. So if I go get hurt and I can't put out a video for 6 months, dude, that's 24 videos gone right there. So like, I feel like I should just, I ride right where I need to be and push it and always try to be better and hit a big jump, get stoked on it. And, just little, clicking a little bit at a time, nothing too big.
There is some stuff though that you've done that's been pretty big, like a couple of those, like the road gaps and stuff. Are you having I guess, because that's kind of the danger, right? Is like you've got this huge YouTube channel and you've got this YouTube following, and it's like there's the title and the thumbnail that is like make or break. Is there gaps where you've looked at and you like really haven't wanted to, you really don't want to do that shit, but then you're like, fuck, I kind of need this for the video?
There's probably been 3 or 4 jumps in my lifetime that I was like stoked on. Like I could sit back and say, yo, I was stoked that I hit that thing. And it's the coolest feeling ever, is having that adrenaline rush and being that scared and nervous. And you're like, fuck, your balls are in your throat. You're like, I hope I make this thing. And when you clear it, it's the best feeling ever. You're so stoked on it. Like, so when that feeling and that rush you get is so worth it. And I think that's what pushes us as riders, and just anyone in general, is always overcoming a fear and going further. But yeah, there's been a couple recently where I'm like, damn, this thing would be pretty sick if we got a video. I'm pretty sure people would be hyped on this thing. So we should try. I did one the other day. It wasn't that gnarly by any means, but it was just a cool one. It was this steep concrete thing, and we went up and over the fence. I think I got 53 million on Instagram. I've gotten 40K off that video this week.
Fuck, that is gnarly.
Yeah.
Dude. So are you getting paid on Instagram now as well?
You can. I guess you can sign up and get paid on Reels. I have other homies who do that. I don't do that necessarily. I have never signed up for that because I just try to get it on the back end on merch and stuff, and I don't want to run too many ads.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you sign up as a creator on these platforms, I think it docks you, like on TikTok and stuff. People that go on from public account to a creator account, they don't want you to get mad views because then they're going to have to pay you on it now. So I'd rather just get more organic views and get people to follow us than try to get little chunks of change here and there to run an advertisement for a couple $100. So on Instagram now, I get paid.
Yeah. I think to go back to the riding stuff real quick, like I think that's definitely what makes I don't know how to explain it, but like there's definitely a really legit element of staring down the barrel of a jump, like that you have that really gnarly fear and then pushing your way through that and then coming out on the other side, especially when there's like the accountability of like doing it on video and it's like kind of a part of your business in a sense. Like I definitely just don't take those risks. Like, I mean, we're doing this big desert race in a couple months, and I think that I've got like a pretty big fear of doing this race. It's like our Baja 1000 kinda.
Yeah.
And it's like 250 kilometers up and back, and like it's fucking gnarly, and I'm
That's
scared
no
of
joke,
it. But
yeah.
as far as like, yeah, but as far as doing jumps and shit, like I just ain't fucking pulling the trigger on nothing that scares me in that sense.
But you don't have to, you've created this thing for yourself, and you don't have to hit big jumps, and you can ride within your comfort zone or push it a little bit here and there and just have fun with it. So that there's a couple times where I've looked at some jumps, I'm like, damn, this thing's got me spooked, but if I clear this thing, like, could it be X amount of views? I would do it. That does run through my head. I do it more for myself though, just to like say that I did it and just self-glorify myself that I hit a big jump. And the more jumps you hit that are big or technical and you put yourself in that position, then when you get to the next one, it's not as hard because you kind of have a mindset on how to approach the jump, how the bike might react. So every time you go bigger, the next one technically gets smaller because you're more comfortable. Unless you're talking distance and feet, like it will get bigger, but everything's a mindset when it comes to riding. It's all mental. So like it feels smaller because you're like, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. I think it was pretty sick to watch Medium like training for arena cross and stuff like that. Is it cool to kind of be a part of his, because you're both like kind of a part of each other's progression in a way, but I guess he's like sort of going in more of like a racing direction, and he's sort of pushing himself in that way. Like, is it pretty dope to kind of be a part of like watching your homie really have a crack at all that sort of stuff? Because it's no joke, man.
Cool. It's super cool because he was always like, growing up, he was kind of a sketchy rider. He's known for crashing. He hangs it out and gets squirrely. Yeah. So to see how far he's come and how much he's progressed and how good he is at riding, it's pretty cool. And Supercross is no joke. That's the hardest discipline in my opinion. When you're down on a Supercross track and you see how peaky everything is and how low it is, it's super gnarly. Like when you're up in the stands, it doesn't do justice. Even we're on the little practice tracks. They're not even as gnarly as the stuff that you see in the stadium. So like, coming out of a corner and threeing out of a corner, in my opinion, is way harder than going out and jumping 120 feet. Like, because the lips and landings are so long and they're so forgiving. The factors aren't there. Supercross is just to the T, man. It's so, you got to be on your shit, and you want to have stiff shit too. Like, he has a little arena cross setting. It's not stiff enough. So to see him when he starts charging big stuff and he's on a little bike, he's on Light's bike too, I'm like, oh shit, dude, how do you feel? I'm like, I think it's this way. He's like, no, I'm just going to pin it and hope it works. I've seen him case some shit too. But yeah, it's cool, super cool to watch him progress as a rider, and just the way he was a little boy forever. A lot of people don't know that. He branded himself pretty well as a little boy for like 5 or 6 years. That was his Instagram handle. He was a filmer as well. And then he became Medium Boy, and he couldn't afford a bike, so we just shared a bike. That first bike I bought, we would share it, and we tag team it, and then I bought another one, and we did that forever, and he finally got his own, and so he developed into a rider as well too. So it's cool, a journey of two homies coming up together, just living a dream and having a passion and following it.
Yeah, is that something that you were pretty cognizant of early, that you like almost needed somebody else in the mix? Like it'd be hard to do if it was like just you, or is it just like naturally kind of how it worked out? Because I know like with the podcast, whenever I do stuff, I'm always trying to include my friends in it, and then I guess Sam has kind of become like, shout out to Sam actually. Sam's become like kind of my main dude that I do stuff with. But to me, I felt like early on I was like, dude, I need somebody else. Like I don't want to just do this by myself. It'd feel weird. It wouldn't feel like super genuine. And then it's sort of, because it's a weird thing in this game where when it starts to be successful, in a sense, like you start to get a lot of stuff. Like you start, people want to start helping you, and it's like people are giving you a lot, and it always felt like real weird to me to like just take all of that shit for me, in a way. So it's like as soon as you've got people that you can share stuff with, I don't know, it felt way more comfortable to me in that sense.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. It's so cool having a homie there, and you guys you're building something together. You're coming up together. It's something you can share together. It's super cool. I never felt that was necessary. What you saw is so natural and organic. We were best homies day to day, and we just did it. So when we started YouTube, he was already hanging with me and riding with me every day. I was like, yo, let's do this together. I wish we would have known what it was going to become, because back then, if we were filming, for the first 5-6 years of our lives, we would really have some kick-ass content and some big-ass crashes. Yeah. But, yeah, it just came super natural. He was just there. I'm literally hung out with that dude pretty much every single day of my life, and he's my little brother, and we've been through a lot together, a lot of stuff that you've seen, some crazy stuff on video. There's even crazier stuff that's not on video, and we've just experienced a lot. So it's super cool that we're able to do this, and it's worked out where he can stay with me, and he makes money on merch on his end, so he's able to do it. And I think we could do this together, and I think it's the direction he wants to go too. He graduated college with a business degree. I don't think he's ever gonna use it unless it's building our own brand. Really? But he made it. He went all the way through school, so congrats to him. Shout out for doing it. I don't know how he did it. I didn't really see him do the work, but I think he just had chicks on the back end that he would just like pay to do his homework.
What a fucking lord.
Yeah, he's the man. He's classic, man. He's so fucking funny.
Oh, I fucking love that dude, eh? How does he always, why is he getting arrested so much? Like, is he just a little fucking, is he just one of those dudes that's just like a terror on the piss or what?
It's just wrong time, wrong place, and he's drunk, and he's just, he just doesn't know when to cool it, which most people do. I'll be like, yo, dude, you gotta cool it. Like, I'm telling you, I've seen how this stuff plays out too many times. I don't want to see you go down that road. And for the most part, it's worked out. The first time he got arrested, he used a fake ID, and he got arrested at 10:30 at night, and his birthday was at 12. So 2 hours. Ugh. So a fake ID. Then he tries to run. Everyone said he ran for camera. He would have done it whether I was there or not. He's drunk. He's going to run. That's his deal. He thinks he's going to get away. And then the couple other little arrests he has kind of seemed unfair in my eyes. All he was doing is taking Snapchats, but he gets thrown down on the ground, and cops out here, they're so brutal, they'll do whatever they want anyways. But yeah. I think now that he's experienced this and he's just younger, and I think that's probably his last time getting arrested, and he'll stay out of the slammer and realize you don't got to do that shit. But it's been funny for us, good ass content. I've spent a lot of money on bail money too.
How much does it cost to bail him out?
I think his last one was like $3,000 probably, and then all his lawyer fees and shit too. So but I'm not gonna leave him sitting there, in the cell. Like, he probably learned his lesson enough, and fortunately we're in a position where we can do it. And then he makes little bail shirts. Like, he made two for his first arrest. He made one, a little mugshot tee, and then his second one he made one too. And literally every dime from those sales has gone straight to his lawyer fees. So it's pretty fucking funny. I fucking
love it, dude.
Yeah. It's classic.
There's something about Old Town, dude, eh?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That place will get you. And just in general, especially like, we just did our fair share of partying, and I don't really do it as much anymore, promote it, just because I treat Instagram more like a business. But dude, we partied our asses off for a long time there. A long ass time. And then when COVID hit and we had our own house, everyone wants to come to our house and go over there. So there's just there's a lot of partying involved, a lot of nights watching the sun come up, and a lot of drunk memories.
Dude, I remember the first ever time I went to Old Town. I'd like just come from Australia, and I was like there with this chick, and then this guy was sort of like, I went to piss, and then this guy was sort of just there like hassling this chick, and then anyway he like sort of mouthed off at me, and I just smacked the dude just like halfway through a sentence, like his first sentence, talking shit to me. I was like, fuck fuck this guy. I'm not dealing with this shit. So I just smacked this dude, right? Old mate just fucking bang, falls across the bar. And then all of a sudden there's like fucking 6 dudes. And I was like, oh, fuck. Luckily the security guard, I can't remember like what club it was, but or like it wasn't club, it was like a bar. But there's like security guards seen it, and he seen like the dude was being a dick, and he saw him like hassling the chick. So he was kind of like cool with me, luckily. And so he's like come in straight away. I've got like these 5 dudes staring at me. I was like, fuck, this sucks. This is like my 3rd night in America. I'm about to get arrested. And anyway, so he like ushers me out the back of this place because there was like already cops out the front. He like puts me in a cab. So I was like, fuck, okay, I guess you can't really get away with that shit in America like you can in Australia. Like if that was in Australia, everyone would just be like
just hyped on it, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, you guys are loose out there. You guys are so loose when it comes like your whole program, from the way you guys act, bar scene, chicks, everything. When you guys come over here and we see it, the personality you guys bring and the shit we hear you guys do, it's crazy to me. I'm like, holy shit, these dudes get away with that stuff?
Yeah, I was just, well, there's just a saying over here, talk shit, get hit. He was just halfway through talking shit. I was just like, bro, we ain't fucking doing this, man. I'm too tired.
That's and cool that you shut him down.
I found out quick, though, that was not the move. But the chick was stoked. So we left and fucking, we kept the party going after that.
Perfect.
She was like,
yeah, perfect for you. You beat the dude up and you got the chick. You look like the hero. And you're from Oz. You've only been here for 72 hours. Like, you really set the tone for her there. She's like, dude, this dude's fucking no joke. This dude's legit.
But then that was like pretty much like the last fight I ever wanted to get in. There was I think the only other time, dude, you know where else is crazy for fucking fights is Huntington Beach.
Yeah, dude, it's funny you say that because the last fight I was in was at Huntington Beach.
That place, people just want to throw down. I don't get what the fuck it is about that place.
It's I think they're just a little more hostile up there. Their dads are kind of surf dudes and they're entitled. They're probably still on their parents' card, you know. They've gotten everything their way. They've never got smacked around too much. But yeah, Huntington is super fucking hostile. And the last time I went to a bar up there, this was like 2 months ago. Yeah, I got in a fight. 6v1. It was over a chick, too. It's always over chicks. This dude wanted to fight me over a chick. I kind of went up, said some shit. He throws me one. All of his boys get on me. And then Meads comes through out of nowhere and just starts dropping haymakers on these fools. Kind of like I get up. I got a bloody lip. And then, yeah, dude, it was fun. Yeah, that place goes crazy.
Oh, yeah. I used to live there. That was like one of the places. I ended up moving from Temecula. I was like dating this chick. And then, and actually this was, yeah, I lived there. But the fight we got in was I was dating a chick that I met in Temecula, and her parents lived in Huntington, and so we used to go out there all the time. And then we went out one night, and I was with like an Aussie dude, and Aussie guys back then kind of had like way different haircuts to. I think it's more normal now, those kind of haircuts. But one of my boys, Ash, had like kind of the full Justin Bieber sort of haircut that just wasn't the Huntington vibe. Yeah. So I've like gone to the toilet, run it, and this dude, I don't know why, it's just like a pet peeve, but when people like, you're in a bathroom at a bar and dudes want to say sorry, like you're just crossing them, like there's nothing to say sorry about, and these dudes are just, they've over the top apologized to you. I'm just like, all right, man, whatever, like we're good. Kind of probably rubbed this dude the wrong way, like by not accepting his weird apology. And so anyway, I've gone for a piss, run into this guy, and then I've like kind of brushed him pretty hard, and then I get outside back to the place, and the same dude was like giving my boy shit about his haircut. So then I was like, my chick had this like fucking idiot sister, so I was already pissed off at the idiot sister. So then it just like turned into this thing, and so like some blows get thrown, and then it was the same deal. It was like all the fucking guys, and then this time the security guard wasn't cool with me, so then the security guard throws me out the front. We end up going to this other bar, and I was like fired up. And I get up this top of the stairs, and then this dude does the same thing, like the whole sorry deal. And I was like already just like, fuck this night. And so then I like almost like went at this guy, and then I saw he had like these big cauliflower ears, and I was like, Apology accepted, bro. We're fucking good here. I don't want no dramas, man. But yeah,
That's
dude, every
classic.
time I would go out to Huntington, I was just like, there's some weird vibes that go down in this place.
Let's go to I try to stay out of there just for that reason. Once you've been in that scene enough, you're over it. You get yourself into trouble. But yeah, dudes always want to fight in Huntington. I don't know what it is. They're hostile and they're entitled. Most of the time it's over pussy. You end up getting the chick anyways, so who cares? If you won or lost, you still won at the end of the night. But yeah, dudes be throwing down all the time. I always try to avoid it too, just because like I see the bigger scheme of things, and like unless someone's super disrespecting you or your homie, a lot of the time it's drunk talk and you could just brush it off, be like, whatever, dude. Because you don't want to get in trouble out here and get locked up on a violence charge for a bar fight. Like it just looks bad on your record and there's no point. But yeah, most of the time you got to let the other dude throw first. It sucks because you got to eat one. But if you can just eat one, then it's game on. Because then if there's witnesses or video or anything and you tell your story, that's self-defense at that point. So eat one and then you're ready to go.
Dude, were you ever around for the riots at the US Open at Huntington Beach? Speaking of like crazy US Huntington shit.
No, I seen all that shit when it was unfolding, but I wasn't up there for it. But that was pretty wild to watch all that shit go down. Crazy.
Yeah, dude. I lived there then, and we lived like in kind of back maybe like 2 miles from the beach, and yeah, I was just like. Everyone was kind of freaking out about the whole riots thing. I was like, bro, this makes sense. This place fucking sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that thing, you just have such a diverse, you got, from the kids to the scum to like rich people. It's just a very diverse community, and like, they don't like people coming in there. Huntington's super locals only type vibe, very territorial and hostile in that way. And I'm sure you recognize each person at the bar, so when you get a new face in the crowd, that's not something they take lightly to. So once everyone gets a drink in them, everyone's the man. They got a drink, you can fight anyone. So
that's just funny. Did you find that once you started getting bigger that people started like trying to fuck with you though?
Yeah, heavy, and especially in Temecula area, a lot of time, 99% of the time, people are super stoked to see you and meet you, and they're just stoked that you're going to say what up to them. But yeah, people try to fight. Like, yo, you think you're sweet? I'm like, nah, I never even said that one time. Like, if you took the time to say what up to me, I would have let you know in the case that I would give you the time of day and decency. And then, yeah, especially in bars, people always are chirping and they want to start saying some shit. And I've been in altercations like that from dudes straight up talking shit and saying like, they're not fans of you at all. They're actually pissed about it. And, especially when it comes to hills riding, it's super territorial out here. Like the Beaumont, the Retchie, the hills scene. It's a scene, and they say who's allowed to and who's not allowed to ride. When in reality, it's probably illegal for all of us to be there anyways. But I'll post a little video on Instagram. I went out there, shoveled, did my deal, post a little video, and they just get pissed that they don't have that following or that same exposure that you have, and they get hostile. Free ride dudes, they always want to fight. They come at you hard. But you always get someone negative in the comments, and then they go so hard on the Instagram, then you see them in real life and they don't do anything about it. They don't back up one thing they just said on the keyboard. And I kind of just brush that off. We got too many big things going. But yeah, the bigger you go, the more people are going to come for you for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, there was definitely a period of time where like everyone was into the whole like buttery beef thing, like it just seemed like that was like almost like a phase that you kind of had to go through where it was like you were coming up and then like everyone was either pissed that you were on the way up the way that you were, or they were trying to like have some kind of beef with you to like, I guess, nowadays the term is called clout chasing. But it's like, it seemed like there was a real phase of your come up or career that was just like, had that whole kind of vibe going on.
For sure. Yeah. It was like a trend to like hate on me or diss what I was doing, which I understand. If you didn't know who I was, it would maybe look like I'm this sweet ass dude who thought I was cool or whatever. But just meeting people and friends of friends talking and doing podcasts like this, because I'm sure there's people that have developed, an opinion about me. Well, now they're watching this now, and now they're thinking twice on it. It's just showing people that you're actually a genuine dude. And like to hang out with people, and just, you're here for the sport. You're here to help people. Just fortunate that we're able to have followers, I guess. And I'm not sweeter than any other dude, man. We're all the same. We're just having fun and ripping dirt bikes and slamming beers.
Yeah, I think that's probably like the thing that, like, if you take your shit on face value, then it would seem real bro and, you know, like, get a clue, and, you know, like the kind of, because you build, like, really, dude, like what you do is you just build fucking fantastic memes. Like the get a clue thing is a meme, you know, medium with the Coke and the soda pop, like the, you know, not the fresh paint, like you are a genius of building memes. And I think that if you just look at like the meme side of your brand, then that is probably where people get that vibe from, is because it's so like over the top, like Cali bro in your face. But that's like what it's meant to be. Like in Australia, we'd call it like taking the piss. And, you know, so it's like, but that's like a part of the character. But then if you really watch all your videos, like inside of that character, there's just like a fucking super, super nice dude. Like you can see it in the way that you talk to, you know, like random strangers that want to come up and watch a video, or like watch you guys film, and you're always like, man, I appreciate you, have a great day. Like there is a super nice dude at the core of it once you kind of get past like the meme side of it.
Yeah, like you said, face value, just the way you see it from just what you get, it looks like I'm just this cooped out dude yelling at other people, just thinking I'm way sweeter than I really am. But they love that. I try not to do it anymore, just I'm older, but the get a clue thing was huge. Like I get so many requests, like get a clue merch, get a clue this, all that. And it took off for me. What happened is I seen a car crash. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Just like, yo, this dude's a clueless driver, get a clue. And then it stuck on Snapchat and all these kids request it. Now I kind of stepped away, just I'm older and you change, but people just, that stuff still sticks around with them. And that's, something them and their homies, I'm sure, yelling. And it's if you get to know me, I just same dude, just appreciative of everyone and just fortunate to be in this position. And just it's a cool ass ride that I'm enjoying. So I'm not trying to fuck it up by being some dude that I'm not and some douchebag. Like I'm super thankful to be here.
Oh yeah, and I think it does come across. It just takes like people actually watching like a full video, you know, and you know they'll kind of see the exact vibe, because there is a sense where like you do have to build a character. And I mean, even like for me, I try and be myself the whole time as much as possible. And actually, like I think that when you put out this much content, like every podcast is 3 hours, and there's your episode 211, and then there's like all the seasons of Supercross Companion. So it's like you can't fake a person for that long. So like I feel like hopefully people understand that it's like, okay, well this is probably what he's like if there's 700-800 hours of content. But I mean, there is like a certain sense of a caricature that you kind of play. And I mean, especially I'd say when I'm watching Supercross races with Sammy and we're like doing the Supercross Companion, then there is like you're watching it as like a sports fan, you know? So it's like, yeah, it's me and I'm watching it, but I'm like hamming it up for the boys. Like we're just all kind of carrying on and we're all playing our own funny sort of role. But I guess that's not so much as for the cameras as it is for like you're around your boys and you're just talking shit. So I mean, I'm sure with you there is a sense of like you're playing Buttery as a character, and there's like maybe that's, you know, a few % more than your normal personality or whatever. So that's like always something that I guess you've kind of got to navigate as a creator, right?
For sure, 100%. You hit it right on the mark. Like you build a character and this personality, and people expect that, and that's what they gravitate towards, you know? That's what people want to be around, someone who's just saying funny stuff, always putting themselves out there, being that type of dude. It just, you draw that camaraderie and people want to hang out, and it elevates you a little bit where you can separate yourself from people. But just being a character and being a funny dude, and people love, that's why Jet Lawrence does so well. Everyone loves, not only is he a good rider, but it's like, you know, the things he's saying on the podium, he's not a robot. he's just saying exactly how he feels. He's having fun with it, connecting with his fans, and that it's gravitating so many more people towards him, opposed to an interview that's more dry. Just thank your sponsors, do your deal, and walk off. People love surrounding themselves with characters and people with a good personality. They feel like they can connect with someone like that for sure.
Did you like to speak on that character? Like, do you think much about like the Buttery character, or is it just so natural that you just can kind of like dip in and out of that person in a sense?
Pretty natural. It's super natural on the fly. I just the only thing is, like, I'm kind of Cali bro. Like, I'm pretty laid back, like this type of dude, almost like a stoner vibe. But in front of cameras and stuff, I always put on in front of fans. I'm like, I put on a little more spice on it, because like, just you want to have that good high energy. You got to have high energy. People want to be around people like that. So, but it's not like I'm playing it out. Like, you know, it's super natural. It's just how I feel. They get me hyped. The stoke is real. We feed off each other. So I keep it pretty stoked out. But sometimes I'm just chilling, and if someone meets you and you're not on the stoke that they thought they were going to see, they're like, oh, I thought you were going to be different. I'm like, dude, I'm just chilling. But yeah, for the most part, it's super natural. We don't got to play out anything. We just have fun with it and try to keep high energy and good personality.
That was kind of like my next thing. Was it's sort of weird in a sense when you meet people and then they like expect a certain level from you, but then you're like, man, like, no, I'm not filming, you know, like I'm not like in that kind of vibe. Like, I'm just kind of chilling. I mean, Sam says that to people all the time, that when they would like talk to him about me, Sam's like, dude, he's the most fucking boring person you've ever met. Like, he doesn't do anything. And then like people meet you, and I mean, fuck, like I get people that come up to me and they're like legit just go like straight podcast vibes. Like, what do you think about this and this? And I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm probably stoned and fucking chilling right now. Like, I don't know if I've got the capacity to have that conversation.
Yeah, they expect you to be a certain way all the time, especially since we put the fan interactions in our vlogs so much. Like, so I hit not all of them, but I hit, I think, 8 or 9 rounds of Supercross this year. And we strictly do that just to connect with fans and meet with them and throw them a high five, and hopes that, you know, that leaves in a good impression on them. And they're just thankful that we took our time to do that, just like we're thankful that they support us. So I always try to vlog everyone and put everyone in the video that I can. I can't get everyone to it, because then the video would be kind of boring and I can't do my deal. But they expect you to be a certain way, because they've seen it so many times, and you've kind of groomed them to be this way. And so that's how they expect to see it. So like, I always take an accountability for that, and I tell Eli too, because he'll go full just stone vibe and just chill. I'm like, yo, dude, put some pep in your step. Like, we got to get hyped. These kids are about to get hyped to see us. Like, let's get hyped to see them right now. And for the most part, everyone's so hyped. I just can't believe how massive the fan thing has gotten. We did signings this year. Dude, there's probably I get 300 posters each time, and they're gone in 30 minutes, and our deal normally goes for like 2 hours.
Wow.
So it just shows you how many people are there, and you can't walk anywhere without taking a photo, saying what up to someone. It's and I'm super fortunate for it. It's cool. The part that bums me out is if I'm trying to get somewhere and I'm trying to tell someone like, yo, I gotta go do this. They don't want to hear that, I'm not the type of no dude, so like I'll stick it out for people. But yeah, it's been crazy, man. It's from the second you get in the parking lot till the second you go home, someone wants a photo and they want a high five.
Dude, and it's crazy too. Like, America kind of just like has that culture. Like, America's super appreciative of, well, I guess like when you think about it, man, like America is where celebrity was invented. Like, that's the place that celebrity came from. And like in Australia, man, it's just like, it's not like that, eh? Like, people, it's, I don't know, not the same vibe unless you're like a fucking, but dude, even then, like, you go to Byron Bay and it's like you see Chris Hemsworth and people are just like, oh, that's cool. That's Chris Hemsworth. And but nothing. Like the dude's just sitting there chilling. But in America, like there's such an affinity or like such a culture around celebrity that I just don't think it exists in the rest of the world in the same way.
Yeah, I haven't traveled at all, so that's all new to me. I don't even have my passport, but yeah, the cultural thing's different, especially like Oz to US. I can imagine like the different, even when I go state to state just to see how people interact and the way they treat you and hang out with you, just even from the West Coast to the East Coast is a whole nother deal. And when you go to these Midwest countries, these back countries, it's a whole different vibe. And it's super cool to be able to travel and see, you know, this aspects of life and the way people live and the way they're going to treat you and they perceive you too. And it's in the populated areas where like there are influencers around. People are more fans, I guess, and they really swarm you. But dudes who just like in the back, like Louisiana, I go to Louisiana, dudes are just like super subtle, like, yo, what up? Like shake your hand and walk off type vibes. Just stoked to see you.
Dude, actually, that fucking reminded me. I was going to ask you off air, but I might as well just talk about it with you now. I was going to ask if you had a passport. We're doing this race in June that you and Medium should definitely come and do. Would you travel to Oz to do a race?
Yeah, I'm down. We always talk about going to Oz and talk about doing shit, and he pushes for it heavy. I'm just so lazy to get my passport. I got to get that thing. What is it? It's a supercross or a moto race or something?
Moto race, dude. It's like the most remote motocross race in Australia. It's in Perth, or like 2 hours south of Perth. It's the fucking sickest track in Australia. And it's like a cool, big sort of like invite race that they do every year. Me and Sammy, we did it last year. I can't remember what, I think it was like 3,500 miles each way we drove to do the race. Like it's fucking out there, bro. And it's called Manjimup, but it's like...
Yeah. Dude, okay, Manjimup, so I've heard of that.
Dude, Hill did it.
Yeah, Hill did it. That's right. Hill did it. I've had a couple homies do that.
Yes, dude. Like Bryce Valley's done it. Like there's been a ton of different... I think AJ Cat has done it. Like there's been Pike so many guys that have gone... Yep. They did it to Nations, dude. So we're full going again this year, doing the whole, like, we're documenting the whole thing. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, I wonder if Buttery actually has a fucking passport. You guys should definitely do that. I bet I could get some, like, help for your flights and stuff.
Yeah, if we could expedite, like, a passport and try to get that shit situation figured out, it'd be super cool. Because I'd love to get out there. And, like, Medium's unit and Fist guy all the way. So I think it'd be big for them, too, to, like, have him out there. The unit is like just up the road from us. Like we're in the same town pretty much. Yeah, that's sick. Those dudes are so supportive of his program. They're on his deal, so it'd be cool, and he loves it. It'd be cool just to get out there, new culture, new tracks, see you guys, say what up, new chicks. I always see on the Explore page the chicks are always super hot out there.
Bro, Perth too is fucking ripping. Every time I'm on the Explore page of my shit and I click into a chick, she's from fucking Perth. So it's definitely a good time out there. And dude, this place in Manji, it's just like the perfect place for growing mushrooms too. So there's just mushrooms everywhere.
So no way. I would have never thought that.
Dude, last year I fucked up. I had like mushrooms after racing for 2 days. And I like went to the after party and just got like cornered by people. And I spent the whole time in this after party with like my fucking back against the wall with like a wall of people around me. But yeah, it's a fun race, dude. It's one of the funnest. It's so hard for us to get there, and we're doing it again. Like it's just that cool. There's the start straight, 5th gear wide open. Just like full speed tucking down this sandy start straight.
Out.
It's pretty
That's
sick.
Cool. Yeah, if you say it's that legit, I mean, you guys do it again, it's got to be a good experience. I've only heard good things about it too. Everyone who does it seems super stoked to always get there. So if I can get this passport in time, dude, and I get a bike, I'll ride anything, dude. I'll ride whatever.
Google how long it takes right now to get a US passport from scratch. I bet you can do it.
Yeah, there's like ways to expedite them. If you just pay like a little bit, I think you can get them within a few weeks or something. And then they'll do like a merch drop, like a Manjimup Buttery merch drop. Like get 5 to 7 weeks if you expedite it.
You got time?
Yeah, so we got time, yeah. So right after this podcast, just go take my little photo and try to get this thing.
Dude, we think about the content that you guys could get. That's some vlogs that's like a couple good vlogs right there. Have you ever? So you've never been overseas?
No, never. Only third world country I've been to is Mexico.
Bro, then come to this third world country.
You guys are crazy over there. It's sick. I'm like nervous to get over there because you guys go so hard. Like I'm gonna have to take 20 shoeies when I get off the plane.
Dude, yes, Manjimup podium shoeies. Like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I think we need to make this happen, dude.
It'd be super cool.
Like,
though,
what's been the reason? What's been the reason you've never got your passport? Because sure, like, obviously the US is like your biggest country, but do you dive into the analytics to see what other countries you're big in?
Yeah, Canada's huge, but Oz is second for sure. Oz is huge. I ship so many orders to Oz. It's insane. I need to get like just a DC out there to fulfill so you guys don't have to pay as much in shipping because the Oz thing's huge for me out there.
You should get Sam to do that.
Yeah, I should just ship bulk out there and have him fulfill on his end and see if we could just make it easier for people because like customs and shipping and shit, people are always like, yo, you charge us too much. I'm like, dude, I don't really charge that. That's what the post office is going to charge me to get it there. It's like, that's the rates they've come up with.
Well, dude, Sam's just got like all his own printing stuff now, so you could literally just get it like all printed and shipped and fulfilled from Sam.
That'd be sick. That's something I want to talk to him possibly about doing and just have him do it out there because it'd make it so much easier and accessible, and we could get more orders going and just build the Oz fan base too.
Yeah, dude. Hey, this has been a productive business meeting, this podcast. We've come up with some good ideas.
Yeah, this one's been good, huh? Hell yeah. We got a bunch of ideas. Hopefully no one steals them yet. We just got to capitalize on them before someone else takes them.
I know, we just got to get that warehouse dialed in by like 25 KTM electric 50s. we drop a cool $1 million on one of the ideas. Have you got any of the like any other bucket list kind of stuff that you want to do when it comes to like you being on your dirt bike?
I mean, I have like little things, jumps and like things that I would like to go hit and knock off. Like I really thought it'd be cool to race a Supercross, or that's too far gone. Maybe if I put my head down and trained hard for a year, I could possibly qualify for an outdoor. It'd be cool just to do one professional race just to like solidify it. I'm far off from that right now. I'd really have to like put my head down and put effort on and off the bike. But it'd be cool to do something like that for sure. But nothing do bucket list. I just want to just better myself and progress and just be the best rider that I can and throw big whips and hit big jumps.
I feel like when you, at least for me anyway, like anytime I kind of attach an event or a race or something like that to it, like that kind of is the thing that sort of makes me progress because I'm like, fuck, I actually need to, I need to figure my shit out right now and get better. And, you know, like we got this Manjimup race and then the desert race. Man, imagine, I wonder if you could still get, you might not be able to get into Fink, but dude, Fink is crazy. So like we're doing Manji, and then which is in WA, and then the very next weekend. So we leave Monday morning after Manji, and then we fly to Northern Territory, which is like the dead center of Australia. And then we're like, my dad's driving our desert bikes out there, and then we're going out and we're gonna do this desert race. But like, dude, this fucking desert race, there's 40,000 people that camp on the side of this track.
Dude, that thing is huge then.
It is out of control. Like, I'll send you some clips of this race. But yeah, man, it's like the gnarliest fucking race in Australia. So yeah, it's like those things, they're the kind of things that like really make me kind of push myself in that sense, you know. And then especially you add in the fact that you're like filming content there, so you don't want to look like a total kook. But it's like, I don't know, they're the things that kind of like make me grow in that sense, you know.
No, that's cool for sure. And then you have a goal and you get to race out of the deal. It's a cool trip, cool experience, content, like everything you said you're hitting. Do you get to ride a lot, or how often do you ride?
Only once a week if I'm lucky.
Oh yeah, so it's cool for you to just get on the bike. It's hard for you to get on the bike and race, just not having enough seat time, because even if you're going hard in jiu-jitsu, you're still not using the muscles and like breathing the same way you are as on
Yeah.
moto. Like you gotta ride every day to feel that type of that fitness. But that's cool that you're even getting together and like doing this thing again. It's fucking sweet that you're able to pull it off.
Dude, speaking of riding, Sam just doesn't ride at all. Like, I just don't know how the fuck. I don't know how. I actually don't know how he's gonna do this Manji and Fink thing like this year. Like at least for like he just had COVID, so he hasn't been able to ride, or like we don't have bikes ready. Like we don't have nothing. So I don't know how the fuck he's gonna make it happen.
It's just if you get one day or just one day on the bike just before you get out there just to get your feet wet. Otherwise, like you haven't ridden in a while and you come out, it's like a fish out of water, man.
Dude, that's the thing I respect so much about him, though. Like, he just runs it. Like, if he signs up for it, he will do it, and he'll just get out there no matter. He just doesn't give a fuck how much prep he's had, nothing. Like, he's the king of just going out there and running what he brung.
His program's loose. That's cool as hell. Yeah, he's a super nice. He came out to my place. He came to my house one time when he was out here.
Yeah, he's always been a huge Buttery advocate.
Yeah, he's super cool. I love that dude. Your whole crew's cool as fuck.
Yeah, no, we're pretty lucky in that sense. How many times do you ride? Like, what's a week in the life of Buttery look like these days?
We try to ride 3 times a week. 3 times is a good one. 4 is a great one. Normally 2, but we always try to do it at least 3 times a week for sure. And we try to get on that. Each track's open a certain day, so we'll schedule, like a Kahia Creek Wednesday, a Paula Friday. Try to ride something urban or like free ride on a weekend base and just try to ride as much as possible. And I got to cut down on the partying. I've done a lot of partying and lately just a couple drinks here and there, and then so I get hungover, so I don't want to ride the next day. And Medium's all bummed. He's like, yo, I thought we were riding. I'm like, bro, I'm old. This hangover hits. So I'll go watch you ride. But yeah, we try to break up the drinking days and the riding days and just take advantage. I'm like, dude, we're only young once, and we should ride as much as we can possibly. Like, why not? Let's get the hour meter racked up and ride this thing till the wheels come off. So 3 days a week would be a good week. I've done 4 days in a row recently, so it's been good.
How old are you now?
I'm 27, so I'll be 28 when I come to Manjimup.
Fuck yeah, birthday party?
Hell yeah, let's do it Aussie style, down under.
Oh, that's so sick. Yeah, I mean, well, fuck, I don't do the drinking thing anymore. The hangovers are just too brutal. It's just too much. But I loved the party scene while I was in California. Like, there's just people in California definitely do know how to party. There's definitely like a culture around it. I don't know what the scene's like these days. I'm sure the Buttery party scene's pretty dope.
They're pretty fun. It's just no one has a job, but everyone has money. I'm trying to figure out how they pulled off, whether it's stimulus or their parents are probably floating their bill, whatever the case. And they want to drink Monday through Sunday. Like any day that ends in Y, they're going to drink, and they're going to make up a reason as why you should drink. So like, and I had the house too. So like we were having mad house parties all the time. Everyone's coming over doing that whole deal. And there's always something to do, and someone wants to get a drink somewhere, and the chicks out here hot, they're always down to drink, and having a following kind of helps a little bit as well, I'm sure.
Hey, I don't doubt it. What's the places now? Because you're in Encinitas, so like, what's the spots if you're not doing the house party thing?
We try to go to Shelter. We do Shelter sometimes. That you're probably familiar with Shelter, Saloon, and First Street, all on that little bar right there in Encinitas. I don't know if the Shelter was around when you're there, maybe. And then
I don't know, but I know First Street.
Yeah. So that's like the divey one. Like normally the divey ones are cooler. Everyone tries to go to the nicer ones, but once you've done that, experience it, it's cooler to go divey. Unless you're gonna buy a table and be the man, it's not really worth it. And then obviously Temecula always cracks off, Old Town Suite, and then Pacific Beach in San Diego. I think that's the most bars per square mile in our state. So that place is crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go down to PB with like Ben Hargis and Ryan Penhole and that whole crew. That was because I didn't really know any of the places, but that's sort of pretty much where I ended up whenever I was partying with those guys.
Yeah, those dudes knew how to party for sure. They were a little ahead of my time, but I've seen them around at a couple spots. Those dudes definitely, you probably showed you the ropes. You guys probably had some good ass times out here.
Yeah, definitely, dude. So the one thing actually I wanted to mention as well before, and I think it's something that's pretty dope that you've done, that like to talk about not doing what other YouTubers did. You never really have like balled out of control, it seems like. Because I mean, I know that you would be making good money, and I don't think that there should be any reason to, I guess, like play that fact down in a sense. Like, you know, it's like you're just doing well, which is great. You should be doing well. But you've never, as you've kind of risen, it just hasn't seemed like you've ever really wanted to be the guy that flexed or made like the money become like a part of it. Because you mentioned like Steve will do it, and you know, like Nelk Boys and shit. It's like their whole vibe has been like buying fucking Rolexes for each other and like spending all this cash and car and all this kind of shit. So I don't know, is that like a conscious decision that you made where you like didn't want to be that guy? Or I don't know, like as you started getting more money, you stayed the same dude?
I've just tried to stay the same. You know, money doesn't buy happiness. People always say that, and that's true. You can just find your own happiness. And I just don't want to portray that and put that out there, because you don't need that to go do the things where you don't need to be a millionaire to go ride dirt bikes with your buddies. All you need to do is put gas in the thing and put the helmet on, and you're good. So there's really no reason for me to go spend lavishly or show that I've ever made money in that sense, because then it seems all that stuff they do, it's a goal, but it seems unreachable because it's hard to get to that level of success. So if you can just, you know, you can pay your bills, you got a roof over your head, you eat food, and you put gas in your bike, I mean, that's all you really need. And all I ever wanted was a Sprinter. That was like, dude, if I could buy a Sprinter, that's all I need. That's me balling out. That's my flex right there. So I bought a Sprinter, and it's done everything I needed to do. And I spend quite a bit of money just living life day-to-day basis, just gas, food, travel. Like, it all kind of goes back into creating content and road trips and stuff for us. And then I try to invest it too, because with inflation, everything, dude, money's going by quick. It's like quicksand out here. So I've a majority of my money that I've made, I've put it away. I've actually invested a ton of it.
What when you do your investments, like what sort of stuff are you looking at as investments?
So I have a financial advisor, a homie, who's pretty much showed me the ropes through business, how to run a business. It's called Hemlock Hat Co. It's like a straw hat with a print under the brim. Yep. He showed me everything, and he always tells me where to put my money. And so he has a homie out in San Antonio, Texas, who's really good in real estate out there. So we bought like a 3,000 square foot building out there. It's got 1,500 below is just storefront, and then the businesses work on top. So we own that, rent that thing out. I got a 48 unit apartment complex, and then also a alcohol company just came out. It's a local one, and this dude's produced well, and he builds these massive brands, sells them out, and he's done it 2 or 3 times. He's actually out of Encinitas. It's right there. It's called Ashland Hard Seltzer. So I'm like on the forefront of Ashland Hard Seltzer, and we're pushing for that thing and just hoping for the best. It's like once you have money, you got to make it work for you. You got to diversify it. Otherwise, cash sitting there doesn't really do too much for you. Otherwise, you'll look at the figure in your account and want to go spend it on something lame. So just try to make it work for us.
Does that shit excite you? Like, I mean, because you are starting to, like, you'll be 30 in a few years, you know? So it's like, I feel like there's something weird that happens to you at 30, at least for me and like a couple of my friends. Like, it was a similar sort of deal. Like, I pretty much like fucked around until I was like 29. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna be 30. I'm gonna be fucking 30 soon. But is that something that like it does excite you? Is like you making some cash and then being able to invest it and then like seeing the returns? Because in the same way that we said that YouTube is like that numbers game and it sort of does feel fun and like a game, I think like business and money kind of can be the same in a sense.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's just a new chapter of life too, and realizing that money can make you money, and it's just it's almost a plan B. It's a fallback, because like you can't YouTube forever. So if I ever want to buy a sweet house or just have my bills paid for and not have to it's financial freedom, just not have to worry about it. That's the biggest thing for me. And I didn't really come from much money, and I didn't have much. So now that I have it, I've already kind of developed that mindset where I don't have to have it to just be able to do my deal. So it's just been cool learning new aspects of business and stuff like that, because before I would never really branch out to stuff like that, and now that I've realized like what you could do with it, and I think it's super cool. I think it's all going to be a learning game, and as I get older, I'll look back and be glad that I made the position, did the things that I wanted to do with that money and make it work for me and put myself in a good position.
I think it's super respectable the way that you think about your content, and not like to say that, you know, you don't need a lot of money to live this lifestyle, and you got to have a truck, and you got to have a dirt bike, and you got to pay your parlor entry fee, and then gas up your bike. I think that's such a dope message to send as a guy that's in your position, because it's definitely like, I guess that it comes down to more like maybe the ego side of things. Like, it would feel good for your ego to like always have the freshest shit and always have dope shit and, you know, be balling out on certain things. But I mean, that is kind of like the dark side of the internet in a sense, is that you can start to portray this life that is super unrealistic and super unattainable for the average person. And it's like, the reality is that like, even hard work's not going to get certain people out of their situation. Like, certain people are just fucked. Like, if you grow up in Alaska, you know, and you've got no money, and you do ice fishing to get your meals through the winter, and most of the time you're just like locked in, you know, like, so there's to a certain level where it's like, not everyone will be able to get out of their situation with hard work. And if you know, you can kind of fall into the trap, or like people on the internet do fall into the trap of just portraying this like completely unrealistic lifestyle, and it does fuck with people, you know, like, so I don't know, I think it's cool that you've kind of had that perspective, that it's like, hey, this is the lifestyle that we live, and you just don't need money to do it in that way.
Yeah, hell yeah, exactly. And that's like, there's only so much you can take advantage of an opportunity. And like you said, some people are always going to work for other people. They're going to be employees. They're not going to be their own bosses, and it's hard to get out of that. But as long as you're paying your bills and you're able to do everything, like, it's cool to have the flashy shit. I'm sure people want Teslas, mansions, Rolexes. Like, that shit seems cool and all. I would like it too, but it's like, that's not what brings you the happiness. Just having fun with your buddies and making memories is way cooler, and it doesn't take that much money to do that. And as long as you can just live that life and have that mindset and that perspective, I mean, dude, the world's yours.
What were we talking about when that shit clipped out? Like money and shit?
I think so, yeah. Money side of things and everything. You're the only dude that, on or off camera, you're the only dude that really knows that, like, I make money because we're in the same business, so you can, like, kind of see it. Like, people out here don't know that. No one really knows that.
Really?
Nah, no one has an idea. And I don't, if they ask me, I'll tell them straight up, but everyone thinks that I had rich parents and they're like still kind of floating my bill, or I came from money, or like whatever the case, like, and they just think we're just squeaking by, especially like some of the chicks and stuff. They're like, oh, just, you know, another face in the crowd. And this dude's just like, the Instagram thing, it's not they're used to it. It doesn't seem like as big of a deal as it is, because we spend so much time together and hang out, and I'm so normal around them and everyone, that I just seem like another dude who just like posts dumb or crazy videos. So no one really knows what's going on, but that's cool if they want to. I don't got to tell them otherwise. Yeah,
I mean, dude, I just think you fly under the radar in so many ways. Like, I don't know that people take you as seriously as what they should, in a sense. But it's like, is that even a bad thing in a way? You know, it's like, fuck, it's probably a good thing to just like fly under the radar and I guess not have that like attention on you. But I mean, yeah, like, I know what you're doing from the numbers, and I know the, you know, like the merch stuff that you'd be doing is fucking crazy. And like, dude, you deserve it, man. Like, honestly, you fucking deserve everything that you've got. Like, because I do know where you come from. Like, it's fucking it's a crazy come up that you've had, and it's all been like your own work.
Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I'm just, like I said, super fortunate. Everyone always has a story or a background where they've come from, and the next person always had it worse than you had it. But it wasn't handed to me at all. And I worked super hard to get here. I even lived in my truck for a while, and then I just got a gym membership, and that's how I would take showers. Just pay $10 a month, and I would shower there, sleep in my truck, and then go work construction. And like I said, someone always has it worse. Someone's listening right now has it worse than that. But that's just that fueled my fire and my passion to keep doing this. And like sometimes if you hear rappers and everyone says that you come from the bottom to go to the top, it just creates more of a drive. And like you want it so much worse. And then when you earn it, you're super stoked, and it feels fulfilling and rewardful.
Have you ever like wanted to ball out though? Like, has there been a part of you that's like really wanted to just go like, oh fuck it, like I'm gonna go buy some cool shit, and I'm gonna, or like yes. Did you, and then it was just off camera, and then you figured out that it just like wasn't what you expected?
All the time, every day, I want to buy cool ass shit all the time, especially cars. I was never a car guy, but like chicks dig cars, and like people base your success like on what you drive. And like the Tesla Model X, the one with the butterfly door, like I just picture myself rolling in that thing on autopilot with the doors up, and like I wouldn't treat it any different. Like, dude, I'd buy that thing off the lot. We'd jump it over the little LA jump. I'd probably have the doors open so we could actually catch more air, and then like put that thing on autopilot, just like pile chicks in there, put a Joe hauler on the back, put my bike on it. I wouldn't treat it any different. I would just use it for content. But to go drop $120,000 on a car like that, or to go invest that 120 and, you know, have a kickback later on in life, that's the stuff you got to think about. So, and I don't want people to think I'm cool if I have money or nice things. I'd rather just want them to chill and take me for the person that I am and the way I treated them. So every time I think about going in a position like that, I just take a step back and I'm like, nah, I got my dirt bike, got my van. We're cool.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I fucking respect it. Like that'd be a hard internal conversation to have, and actually come up on the side of like, nah, I ain't gonna buy a Tesla.
Yeah, but we'll be it'd be cool to do it, but we could do that when I'm 30, you know, then when there's not dirt bikes and shit, and then everything's more affordable then because our money worked for us. But it's just everything's a mindset, and you're totally who you surround yourself with and the people that you're around and what you're hearing. Like if you're in LA like for a week or so, like that would seem cool. Then you could go back and just chill with your homies and be like, bro, we got each other, we're just having fun, let's ride dirt bikes, we don't need none of that stuff. And I've kind of listened to like Hanson's really good with it, because Hanson dropped mad money, dude. Hanson had Lamborghinis, dude. He had everything. And then, you know, now he just drives his little spray painted truck around to get to the track, and he's done it all. So he always advises against making purchases like that and really thinking about it. Hill's another dude too. Hill made good money in his time, and you know, he earned it. He rode well, and he just drives his little truck too. Yeah,
man. Dude, Hanson is like, he's probably one of the wisest dudes in the game at this point. Like, he has seen and done it all. I'm sure he is probably a guy that would be super useful being in your position. Because, I mean, obviously he wouldn't have like the kind of internet fame that you've got. But, I mean, I'm sure like he'd be a guy that's in terms of like a big homie. I'm sure you guys have had some like legitimate conversations, and he's actually, I could see him steering you away from making some shit decisions.
Yeah, for sure. He's got super good insight, and like you said, he's seen it all. He's seen how this sport has developed from the early stages till now, from the riders to the training to the every aspect, from the money, the chicks, the industry. Like, that dude's probably the most knowledgeable dude when it comes to that, because he's been in it the longest, and he's seen the lows, the highs, he's seen all the come ups, everything. It's all, and the social media thing to him, he's like, he kind of trips out on. He's like, dude, people will just watch YouTubes and stuff, because he bases his whole deal off being an insane talented rider, riding well and letting his riding and racing speak for himself. So the internet thing, I'll tell him some stuff and he trips on it. He's like, dude, what? I'm not even going to learn. I'm too old. I'm just going to chill. So I put him in some vlogs and stuff, and people will come up, and because he's got new fans now because of that, because he's so old school. Like some of these new kids, they never watch Hansen race. That's too far, that's too far gone for them. I showed Medium the other day who he was from back in the day. I was like, yo, you realize this dude was racing when you were 5 years old, right? And he tripped out. He didn't even know that. And I showed him all these old videos and like kind of how he bounced from Yamaha of Troy, and then his whole KTM deal and his pro circuit deal. And it was all brand new to Eli. He just knew Hansen for the dude who was there and how he perceived himself. And he hung out with us and was a cool, nice dude. And he never knew any of that on the back end. He learned that last week. And we've been chilling with this dude pretty strong for like 3 years.
That is crazy to me, dude. Like, you go, hey, Eli, yeah, this dude got paid millions and millions of dollars to race a fucking dirt bike in the lights class. Like, this was one of the first dudes that, like, this guy changed the game.
He had no idea who he was. He just thought he was a dude that was sick on a bike and just rode.
Fuck. And, man, the most style. I don't know that there's anybody else that has the style of Josh Hansen still to this day. Like, no one's doing that, like the nose dips. Like,
he just rides it such a certain way, and just like it's his technique and form. There's no one that looks like him out on the track. He's just super fluid. Doesn't look like he's working too hard with it. So it's pretty cool to watch him ride and hear what he has to say.
Dude, that would be a Buttery edit that I would like to see. If you want to talk about like a high production Buttery edit, I think that you should make like a high production Hansen video.
I'd love to, but it's hard to get the dude motivated because he'd be like, nah, dude, I'm not trying to act like I'm sweet. I don't want to be sweet. And then he'd be like, he'd turn it down for some reason. He's like, nah, the camera's on. I'm not riding. And he's like, it took a while to get him to talk again and ride again on camera because he'd be like, nah, dude, I don't want to be like sweet guy.
That's fucking crazy to me because there is so many people that would just absolutely die to see that guy ride properly.
I'd love to.
It does not get much better than Hansen, dude.
But like I said, I worked with Hill. I've worked with a lot of cool ass dudes, but I did a lot of stuff with Hill. Hill and I have been boys. Dude, I met Hill when I was 15 years old, so it was right when he did the backflip crash and hurt his leg, and just started walking. Yep. Was the first time I met Hill, and he brought me in, was super cool and supportive, and we've been filming and just hanging out. I've lived on and off with him for a long time, and we've had some good times, good memories, good road trips, and it's cool being able to film some of the things that I've done because he goes so big. Like, he's not afraid to go huge, man. He'll jump anything. He'll ride any bike.
Yeah, he's an animal and like one of the nicest people. Like, he's one of the fan favorites on the podcast for sure. I think he's got like a crazy like media future too in the sport.
For sure, yeah.
Like his take and perspectives.
He has a lot of insight. And he looks into the back end of things and analytics, and he could steer the sport in the proper direction. He's super involved, always hands on with his videos, from the filming, the editing, and just the way things are delivered and pitched. But he worked for Monster, as a team manager and doing stuff. So like, he's a smart dude when it comes to pretty much all aspects of how a brand should be in a sport or an athlete should be involved and what people want to see and what's going to create sales.
Yeah. Do you ever think about like the industry involvement in your stuff? Because it seems like the industry is pretty like hands off when it comes to you, or like people aren't super involved. Like O'Neill has supported you for a while, but has there been a lot of industry support for your shit, or has it always just been something you haven't really bothered with?
They were cool at first. Like when I was filming back in the day, doing little stuff for Monster and just doing stuff here and there, everyone was super supportive. And then over the past few years, it's kind of seemed to fade away. I don't know if I just haven't kept those connections or just people are doing other things, but yeah, O'Neill's super supportive. all my sponsors like that on my end are super supportive. Don Maeda over at Swap, he always helps me. But dude, industry is not really they're not that supportive of our whole deal at all. I don't think anyone really sees what we're doing. I buy tickets at Supercross full price. I bring my monster can, I get my hand stamp, and then I had a wristband this year for Hill as a mechanic's pass, and I went down there to be his mechanic, and the fell dude told me that I look like a guy who shouldn't be down there, so they kicked me off the floor. And I don't really get any love from anyone. And I do all the shootouts. Like I did a shootout yesterday, the 2022 factory editions. That's my fourth shootout. I always try to like talk to the guys and see if I could get a brand deal or get some bikes to help. I know that's a whole nother deal because the Jap thing's weird on the corporate side, but yeah, not much love from the industry at all, actually, except for my sponsors who help me.
So who are the sponsors that help you out? Like,
biggest is O'Neill by far. O'Neill, dude, they're the best, coolest ever. O'Neill's super cool. Shoei's good to me. Scott's always good to me. Yoshimura, that's the biggest plug ever because, dude, pipes are expensive, and those pipes noticeably make your bike better. Like, I'm not even pitching that on sales because we're on a video right now. Like, dude, that thing makes your bike bark so good. And Hemlock Catco, like I said, he showed me the ropes on how to run a business and just showed me everything. Is always super supportive. And then just a few other little people. Alpine Stars hooks it up here and there, and EVS, just people get me parts. It's always cool to get some cool parts on your bike or make sure your gear's looking good. But no, nothing really too big, honestly. O'Neill's like been in my corner the hardest for sure.
That's sick. Yeah, Pat from O'Neill's such a G.
He's the man. I love that dude. He's the one that like plugged me when I lost my deal. He's the one that plugged me with those dudes and got everything together for me. So Pat did it for me, and then Don Maeda mentioned my name too. I had a couple dudes in my corner, but yeah, Pat's the man. It
is crazy to me that, like, I guess the industry doesn't want to jump on board with the stuff that you're doing more, just because of the reach, man. Like, I know that like views is one thing, but then like reach is crazy. Like when you go into the analytics on YouTube, so I think we get like our reach every month is like 150 million is like ours. So I mean, yours would be fucking psycho, dude. To know like the amount of times like your shit is getting shown to people, and yeah, that just it does seem crazy. Like, I guess again, it's just like you're underrated, you know.
It's crazy that you notice that too, because I think that is the whole deal. Like in the fans' eyes, we're these huge people and we do these things and have this following and able to do this stuff, but we fly pretty low under the radar as far as like where we should be or what people would think of us, or if we're prioritized, we're very low on the totem pole of like being someone who's a priority at all. Yo, should we get this guy? It's like, dude, I went in a suite in Seattle Supercross last weekend. This dude, that was my first time ever in a suite ever. I was tripping. Really? I'm like, dude, you guys do it this good up here? There's like drinks and food and stuff. Normally I'm in the nosebleeds. Yeah. Dudes are fighting, smoking, and chicks are pulling their tits out. Like, this was crazy to me.
But I mean, I guess like there's sort of one thing to be said about like being the guy that's always in the nosebleeds, you know, like that is such a part of, you know, the vibe. Like even Hill was talking about that the other day. He's like, man, you go up to wherever like Buttery's sitting, it's like the most like dead part of the stadium, but then as soon as Buttery's there, it's just like fucking loaded with people.
It's crazy, and everyone kind of, they either word of mouth know where you're sitting, or they see a Instagram story if you post one. That's what I try not to do that. If I post an Instagram story during the race, then everyone knows where you're sitting and they'll all come. And then there's a line that goes up the stairs and they want autographs and you can't watch the race.
Yeah.
So we always try to like keep it kind of low profile in that way, but people figured out, and dude, everyone comes from every section. They bring you beers. They're going so gnarly. Chicks are going, there's fights. Beers are thrown everywhere. It's insane. And I don't even promote that or provoke that at all. I don't know if they do that because they see me and they think I'm that type of dude, but I'm just like a newscast guy. I just hold my phone up and just get the shot of whatever's happened. I'm not telling no one to do nothing. They're just wanting to do it on their own.
But I mean, you always seem to get that shit. Like even the Sexton crash, it's like you're like mid-story on Instagram or whatever, and then you get the fucking gnarliest crash of the season.
That was the first clip I got in Seattle. I went from the parking lot, walked in the stadium, turned my phone on. That was the first thing I saw, and I'm right there in the section too. Like it couldn't be any better. It was insane.
Yeah, so I don't know, blessed. Maybe
World,
you're just blessed.
The world provides for me for sure. A lot of content has been provided for me. I don't have to really create anything.
Fuck, that's such a trip to think about, man. But yeah, it's like you start again. It's like you start living the sweet life, and then you're not around for that content, and you're not around to get the clips, and then maybe the video doesn't pop off as good. So I don't know, maybe it's just like how it needs to be. Because I think about that too, man. Like I sort of get frustrated. Like, dude, I had like fucking 30 plus people DM me directly last year and say they bought a KTM 350 because I'm always just jerking off over 350s.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you just don't really see anything off the back of that. It's like damn near $500,000 worth of motorcycle, and you're like, God damn it, dude! Like I haven't made that much money ever.
Not even a thank you or nothing. Not even a free bike.
Not even a Christmas card.
Nothing.
Send me an orange Christmas card.
That's because I always pick the KTM for the shootouts the last 3 years in a row, and I'm always like kind of joking, like, "Yo, Roger, could you hit me back with an email?" And I say that in my vlogs, on my podcast. I see that dude around. Like he might know who I am, maybe he doesn't, but he don't say nothing to me.
Oh, dude, that shit's so fucking funny. So one question I got asked a lot is the Axel beef. I don't know if you've ever gone into it on a podcast. I don't know if you've ever spoke about it. But at one point, I feel like you guys definitely were on like a very, like you couldn't have Buttery now without Axel, and you probably couldn't have Axel now without Buttery. And then at some point it split. Have you ever spoke about it?
Yeah, I did it on every other podcast, but they all got clipped just because we kind of talked about it on the back end, and just like it ended up making it. And because the only thing that happened is like we came up together, we were doing our own deal, and it was like a collaborative thing. And then he had Monster in his corner, his dad, his brother, like he just had a lot of big stuff going, and I guess he just felt that he needed to separate from what we had going, and it worked out because he did his own deal. You know, he's the man. He rides dirt bikes. Everyone looks up to that dude, and I kind of paved my own way. Otherwise, I might have been a filmer for a long time and just like kind of always rode his coattails possibly. But yeah, we had a cool thing going for a while, but we just I guess it's just a falling out, and a lot of different people speaking on his behalf and telling him what he should do, and he just decided to go a different route, and we both just went different routes.
Yeah, so there's no, like, I guess there's no, because I feel like that's one thing that people just fucking love is people just love the beef thing in general. Like, I couldn't believe the traction that the Buttery AJ thing got, dude. Like, I don't even really remember how that come up, like, in that podcast. Maybe AJ brought it up himself, but I just wasn't really like across the whole beef thing. But people fucking love that. That was like a really good video for me, was when he started talking about that. So like people just love the idea of, you know, that whole kind of like beef thing, especially on the internet.
People love it, and that's like why the UFC is so big. You know, they create these beefs before the fights, for prelims, and it sells, and people just love it because it's the stuff you want to know that you don't ever hear about. And the cat, I met him the other day at San Diego Supercross after that one that you had done with him. He was a cool dude. He was super nice. Apologized. I was like, yo, dude, I got nothing against you. Like, I'm cool with you. Like, you know, it was so long ago too. We just had a laugh about it and everything. Just at the time and place, just the way he had said it just came off pretty gnarly, and I just put it on my page, and dude, he got eaten up bad. His chick got eaten up. They both all turned off their comments, dude. The dude got roasted by like top dudes too. And I didn't go at him to destroy his whole deal. That wasn't really my goal. I just wanted people to know that, you know, what was going on and just the perspective of it. I didn't think it was going to be like that. So kind of felt bad that he got like that roasted on it. But I don't got a problem with that, dude. And like, now that I'm older too, like people that I ever had problems with, like, I even forget if I have an issue with you, I'll probably say what up and throw you a high five because like everything's going so good in my life, and I vice versa to you. I hope you're doing well. I would never hope that someone that I don't like isn't doing well in life. Like, so it's always cool to cross paths again and just say what up. But yeah, he was a cool dude. But people love the beef stuff, man. Beef's the biggest thing on the internet, man.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, I felt the same when I did like that Pulp video. And like, cause he said his shit, and like, to me, like the way that I saw that whole deal was like, he just threw me a layup. Like, all I had to do was just like jump. You know, I was just like, oh, okay, this is fucking easy for me now. Like, he made a stupid point that didn't really make sense. It was really easy to tear it apart. And then I knew people would like it. But I had the video that we posted, fuck, he got chewed up heavy. And it was just the same deal where like people were just like blasting him. It's like, it's a weird thing where it's almost like you give people permission to let out all of their own frustrations on somebody else.
And they just take advantage. They see that thing and they eat it up.
Oh, there was probably all these people that have just like hated on Pulp for so fucking long and just like never really had an opportunity to express that. And then as soon as there was something that came along that like gave people a green light to be like, all right, you can fucking hate on this dude, everyone just ran with it so heavy. But I mean, the thing is, like, it was good for both of us. Like, it's not a, you know, it's not like a negative thing in the end, as long as you can kind of like take the heat, which like obviously he can. And yeah, I mean, even for AJ, like there was probably so many people that had never fucking heard of AJ Catanzaro that heard of him because of you, and then now, like, dude, he's killing it right now with his business.
Yeah, he kills it, and people probably don't know that. I see what he's doing. That dude probably makes a killing. He got Jetson come out, all those dudes helping him. But dude, he means well for the sport. He's a good dude, good rider. He's teaching other dudes how to ride and be safe. It's cool. It's a cool gig that he's got going, and I'm glad I was able to pass over. I'm sure that public apology on your deal helped him a little bit. People still flame him. Dude, I get like almost a DM a week still about that dude. Comments like, you're way better than Cats. But little do they know he's better than me. But if you guys want to believe that, that's cool. But it's pretty funny to see how that whole thing played out.
Are you gonna do the video, like a video with him of like him like doing some technique stuff with you?
Yeah, he talked about it. I'm down. I don't know how often he's out like in my area in SoCal and stuff. But if we were to ever cross paths or something, like, I'm super down to do a video because it'd be good. Like you said, it'd be good for both of us. It'd be funny. We could even have some beef in it or something. But yeah, I'd definitely do a video with him. He seems like an all right dude. I met him for a minute. He was cool. He was nice to me. And if you're nice to me, I'll be nice back to you.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for AJ. He's a fucking super nice dude. I talked to him a bunch, actually. He's a cool dude too, in like the sense that he's really about being a creator, and he's really about like, I guess, the business side of this. So it's, I mean, you'd know, like there's just not that many people that you can talk to about like our line of work, you know, that kind of have a similar sort of deal. So yeah, I mean, I want to tune into that video. I want to watch AJ give Buttery some tips.
It'd be pretty funny. It'd be a good video. Well, dude, when that thumbnail came out in the morning, it was on my homepage, and it's like me standing from the Lamborghini, and like it has AJ Cats right there, and I'm like, dude, I was weirded because I was like, that was like 4 years ago or something, and I was like, I woke up hungover. I'm like, dude, am I seeing shit, or does this say like this was posted an hour ago? And I watched that thing. It was pretty funny. It was a good interview, yeah, and he was cool, yeah.
Dude, that's so fucking funny. I could see the Axel thing being more about the people that was around him than Axel himself, though, because I mean the times, like I haven't spent that much time with Axel, but we went to Geneva Supercross when Hill did it. And Axel was like he was like underage, like he was probably like 17 or 18, and then he flew out to Geneva as Hill's mechanic, and I'd seen him on your videos. Like that's kind of the only way I knew who he was, and and he was the fucking nicest kid ever, like the coolest, nicest guy. And then I remember when the whole, like, when people were talking about you guys falling out or whatever, and like just knowing Ash and then PH and that, like, there's just people around him, and it's like you don't just have like, this is not a dig at anyone, but you don't just have Axel, you have like Axel plus. Yeah. And then, you know, with him getting bigger with Monster, and then he's like a whole brand within himself. So I guess, yeah, when I saw the whole, you know, like Axel Buttery beef, I kind of assumed it was more about the people that were around him than like you and him directly one-to-one. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's how I took it. We didn't really talk much after that or whatever the case. We kind of just, like I said, both went our own ways, and I just know how his family is and people at Monster in general and what they want to see out of him. So if he had to go down that route and do that deal, it worked out good for him, and now he's the man on dirt bikes. And then we, you know, I was able to make my own deal too, and it ended up working out.
Was there like a one moment that it was that, like, where everything kind of split with you guys, or was it just like it just stopped, like whatever he's had going on just stopped happening?
No, there's no moment. No, he was just he was riding a bunch, and I was working construction a bunch at the time too, and kind of just faded away over time. Just no communication, not really filming much together anymore, and he just took it to the next level. Monster stepped in and really got his program going, and it ended up working out for him. So it was cool. It was a cool deal.
So the whole beef's like kind of overblown in a way.
I mean, I just don't really know what really went down. Like, I just made an Instagram post about something that said, you know, no longer we were like filming together, because I got so many questions about it. And I just made a little Instagram post saying like, yo, just want to let people know like this is the case, because we were it was him and I, we were the main dudes filming, you know, we were doing our deal together the whole time. Like, so people expected that. So I just put out a little Instagram post saying like, yo, I'm no longer working with him. He's going to do his own deal. And I just did my own deal. And then people see anything on the internet though, they take it and run with it. So, but yeah,
all right. So that working,
and that we ended up going different paths, and like, I probably would have been a filmer for a lot longer too, which I was cool. If the filming thing's cool, I'm going to put Buttery Films in my name. I've had it forever. I'll always rock that because I am technically filming a lot, but I just enjoy riding. So it's just cool now that I'm in a position where I can ride more and film when I want to too. Just best of both worlds.
Dude, it probably like worked out better.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason in life, you know? I'm not like this big dude who's like all into that stuff, but like to each their own. Like, if you just put out good energy and it comes back to you and everything happens for a reason, you just look back on it, and now we're in this position. We're able to ride and make videos, do podcasts with you. So I think all the cards fell into place here, and it's all worked out for us so far.
Dude, so that sets up another big Buttery edit. The return of Buttery and Axel.
Pull out the big guns again.
That would do numbers.
We were iPhone back then too. Yeah, it was funny because we were iPhone back then on Instagram too. We were like the first dudes. Like, we pushed iPhone heavy. Like, we had real cameras, but iPhone people are just they're so receptive to see the iPhone clips, and it's so easy to just knock out a little iPhone edit and do it on your phone and upload it. Now, like you see on the social media platforms like TikTok and stuff, everything's just phone based. Like, that's all the chicks got their little ring lights on, like this deal. Just put their phone, dance in a bikini, millions of likes, go create a brand, make money.
Dude, I was talking to a guy the other day. He even thinks that iPhones, like the algorithms and stuff, are actually favoring iPhones, because like in the metadata of the actual clips themselves, it actually seems like the iPhone stuff does better. Like, he was saying he actually shoots like all his podcast stuff on iPhone, and he's like, man, honestly, the iPhone stuff, it just does better through the algorithm, because it's like the algorithm is assuming that it's like fan content, if that makes sense.
I've always said that. It's cool to hear someone else say that, because I've always said that same thing too, just based off of watching that's kind of why I do that. And that's just from watching analytics, seeing what goes better than other. But I've always said that same thing. What I always said too is that if you're filming on your phone, because they're phone supported apps, that means you're on your phone more, and it's so they're gonna draw that attention. And like when you pull up your phone and you have the camera out, that's what everyone's used to seeing, is that perspective and that angle, because everyone has a phone in the world.
Yeah.
And so it feels organic. It's what you're used to seeing if you were to film it. And now you're on Instagram on a phone supported app, and you just filmed on your phone to put it directly back through their app. You didn't go edit it and bring it back. So I've always said, I think phone stuff goes better. I think they're onto something for sure.
Dude, I honestly had never, ever thought of it like that. And I've been making content since 2008. And I'd never, ever thought about it. Actually, I want to maybe test some reels. Like, I wonder if there's a way that I could like do it or whatever. Because, yeah, it makes so much fucking sense.
Dude, it's just from on the data, because I did camera stuff for a long time and phone stuff. So just on my back end, what I could tell you just from stuff that I've studied very closely, iPhone is, dude, it's the go every single time. And the cameras are getting so good now too, and the next one's going to be even gnarlier. But like, these phones are so damn good, and it's so accessible and so easy, and they want to keep you on the app for as long as possible, and they want to keep you on your phone. So everything, and on the back end when you upload it, it'll say if it's a camera or iPhone to them over Instagram. It's not telling us that, but they know that. They have to know. They know everything.
Man. No, that's crazy. Oh, fucking oath they do, dude.
They know everything.
Do you see a bunch of people like trying to do like what you've done? Like because it seems like what you've done is kind of hard to replicate. But I mean, anytime someone's doing as well as what you're doing, and I guess like making it look as easy as what you're doing in a sense too, like, because people would be like, oh, he doesn't even ride that good, like that, they can take those easy shots. Yeah. Like, if he can do it, I can do it. But it's like, fuck, man, there's a lot to overcome for you to get to this point.
A lot of seat time, just getting there, and then being able to have the vision for it, the creativity, being unique. What I noticed is Instagram. When we first started doing Instagram edits, even Jacob can vouch for that. Like, people took that style of edits, and then it went into that type of riding, like wheelies, nose wheelies, bonking, all that. And they're going to say Axel's the king of that. He invented it. Don't even try to do a nose wheelie, because you're going to be fucking Axel. But it's just being different and being unique. And you see people trying to link it up and use the cool music and the cool beats. And like, you can see a little bit of stuff that maybe you implemented in your videos, and I feel like we were pretty much on the forefront of. And then you see people doing it now, like totally trying to mimic that style. Like, dudes who are racers are trying to be Instagrammers now, because they see, what could come from it. And cool, to each their own. And like, it's flattering. People might get mad, but if someone copies you, that just means what you're doing is cool, and they back it. So I back them if they want to try.
Nah, dude, 100%. Well, we just pretty much did our 3 hours, brother. I'm very appreciative of you coming on. I've been wanting to do this one for a long time. The people have been wanting this one to happen for a long time. So hope people got a bit more of a insight. I know you've done a few podcasts and stuff before, but maybe there's some new stuff in here that some hardcore Buttery fans might learn.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate you. This is cool, and what you've developed, and your fan base is pretty cool. And we were able to, catch back up, talk, and be able to pull this podcast off, and hopefully give the viewers something they enjoy listening to and something they like watching. So it was super cool. I'm excited for it.
Nah, man, I appreciate it. And yeah, definitely, I'm working on trying to get back out there next year. So hopefully Supercross next year, I'll be back out in California. I think it's been 5 years since I've been there, which is fucking crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, hit me up. I got rooms at my house. If you want to come chill, you want to do whatever, we got it all.
Damn, I might be getting a couple hangovers if that's the case.
We'll have some fun though if you get back out here, and then I'll try to make it. I'll get it on this passport deal and see if we can get out there to Oz and come hang with you boys.
Dude, you have to do it. You have to do it, and not just this trip. Like, you need to be going around the world, bro. Like, you need to be you and Medium need to be just getting bikes wherever you go and take this shit on the road, because fuck, you have some crazy fans all over the world. You gotta get out and do that shit.
Yep, I think World Tour will be next for us. This year was the US Tour with Supercross, so 2023 World Tour.
Nah, I'm stoked, bro. Well, yeah, thanks so much. I'd say we'll probably drop this in the next couple days. I'll shoot you some clips and stuff like that.
Cool, hell yeah.
And yeah, we'll do it again. Hopefully the next one will be in Manji. We'll probably do a podcast live from the race. I think we'll like rent out a bar one night and we'll all just like sit down on some couches and talk some shit. But yeah, I'm trying to get Poto to come do it. I think Ben Townley's going to come do it. So I'm trying to get a pretty solid crew happening for Manji this year.
Let's get it. I'm super down. Count me in, man. That'll be super fun.
All right, sick, bro. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Hell yes, thank you. Have a good one.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.